Hello, my Teaserking family. Oh, good. The mic works. How is everybody today? Fine. Let's go through Saturday. I've got 3 locks posted now. We won yesterday's game. We had Colorado, Washington State over 60, so 54. In an easy one, 56-41, 56-14 Washington State, so it's a 70. They had 42-7 at half, and then I got over in the third quarter, which is the way I like it. Again, the concept is both teams have terrible defenses. Both teams have pretty good offenses. And like here, Washington State, Colorado is not going to do anything to stop them. I thought I lost my quarterback when I went to the game on Yahoo, and I'm in the box score, and I see all of a sudden this other guy in for Primetime Junior, and he threw like an incomplete pass. I says, I can't believe I lost another quarterback. Then Primetime comes back in, throws a 45-yard touchdown. It's 14-7, and I go, okay, now I'm going to win. And they only got 14, but Washington State got 56. They got the cup. They covered the over for me. So I got so many plays today, a ton of plays. Let's go through the line. We've got Coastal Carolina 3, down from 4.5 to 3.5 to 3, and 41.5. Looks like that Army-Navy game, the total might be 29 in that one because there's not going to be any scoring. Indiana 3.5, 47.5. Michigan 19.5, 50.5. Miami 1.5, 46. Now this is interesting. Louisville was the favorite in this game. I kind of like Louisville as the dog more than I like Miami because I don't know what to do with Miami. Penn State 19.5, 40.5. That's down from 20.5. Interesting. Tulane 9.5, 47.5. That hasn't moved. Navy 2.5, 30.5. That hasn't moved. It's 10-18. The line should be going. Northwestern. Wow. Purdue was at 2.5. Now Northwestern's at 2.5. A lot of strange line movements today. 47.5. We'll have to look into this one. And we'll have to look into the Miami one. Why is Northwestern favored over Purdue? That makes no sense. I mean, see, this is what throws you. So I've got my picks in, right? And then here comes another game that I'd be like, yeah, Purdue an 8.5. Provided they didn't lose their quarterback, they're a much better dog in this game. Mississippi State 17.5. Wow, this was 14.5. We know the quarterback and up to 47 from 46. We know the Mississippi quarterback Rogers was probable, so he must be playing, and they'll kill Southern Miss. Oklahoma 25.5, 57.5, up from 24.5. This is why we bet the game early. Once you know you want, get it in. Ole Miss 37.5, 62.5. That number hasn't really changed. SMU 8.5, 65.5. That's up from 64.5. The Sharps are going over with that guy. You got to be careful with that game because SMU's defense is a 16 defense. I mean, it's not an automatic like the Washington State game where both teams can't stop the wind. Ooh, Alabama's down to 42.5 over Chattanooga. The big money's coming in on Chattanooga. I see 42.5. All right, Liberty 25.5 over Mass. That's down from 27.5. Sharps jumping on Mass. and 63.5. That hasn't moved. It's funny how the line moves, but the total doesn't. You'd think if there's an injury, both move. That's really strange. James Madison, 9.5, 56.5, up from 55.5. That should be a real good game. James Madison, both have strong quarterbacks. I was looking at it yesterday, and they're both like 22-6, both quarterbacks. So we know App State can put it up. It should be interesting. Ball State, 12.5, 41.5. Surprised that hasn't moved. A battle of the Z teams. Rice, 3, 46.5. I'm anxiously waiting to see if my quarterback's playing. We like Rice if they play. Hey, Real D. Let's make the money. Well, I go to the site. I got 3 locks going. I got a 33-unit lock. So go hit it. www.teaserking.com. Beautiful locks. 3 of them. All I can give you is the free play of Troy with the 49ers tomorrow. There you go. So I'm curious if Rice's quarterback, we've been waiting for this one. I'll check the injuries as soon as we're done with the line. Charlotte's not a very good offensive team. Rice is. So I don't mind this line if my quarterback's playing. Wyoming, 13.5, 45.5. Against Hawaii, I have no idea here. Middle Tennessee, 8.5, 47.5. Middle Tennessee, there they go. They're up from 7.5, jumping on Middle Tennessee for some reason against UTEP. UTEP's a W, but I wouldn't jump on Middle Tennessee. Jacksonville State, 9.5, 54.5. Up from 8.5. Money's flowing in on Jacksonville State. These people are the stupidest people. I mean, how do you bet these games? These teams. West Virginia, 5.5, 54.5. Down from 6.5. West Virginia is pretty good at home. Arizona, 1.5, 46.5. Now, they jumped yesterday where Utah was favored. Arizona's now the favorite, 46.5. Good God, how do you bet over on that game? Up from 45.5. Duke, 3, 45.5 to Virginia. Down from 3.5, down to from 46.5. Just a second. All right. Yeah, Daria's got the flu. Anyway, that's Washington games. Pretty tricky. Well, you can't read too much into why they're the dog. It's just that's what it is. There is no There's nothing that like Vegas does these mind games. Everybody thinks, why are they favored? Why are this? Why is it? It's all bullshit. They're looking at statistics. For some reason, I looked. I didn't see an injury. We know what they did. We know they beat Oregon at home. We know they went to SC. Just trust yourself with the game. What do you think? They beat Oregon. That tells you a lot right there. So Duke 3 over Virginia, 45.5. Riley Leonard's out, so I don't know. I think Virginia Muscat, the quarterback, I think, is out for them. Colorado State, 12.5 and 46.5. Against Nevada. Colorado State's not scoring that much, though. North Texas, 2.5, 69.5. That line hasn't moved against Tulsa. I don't understand this over 69.5 in this game. Tulsa doesn't score that much. North Texas scores and they both have weak defenses. Maybe it'll be like the Colorado game yesterday. UAB 7.5, 62.5. Texas State 3.5, 59.5. Question there is how good's Arkansas State's offense? It's an easy over if Arkansas State can score. Georgia down to 9.5. Who the hell would bet against Georgia? What are they, out of their minds? 9.5, 58.5. Virginia Tech 2.5, 41.5. Down from 42.5. That probably is a low-scoring game there, maybe. Clemson, 7.5, 59.5. That number hasn't moved. Iowa, 2.5, 32.5. Look at this line move up. This was a 30, I think, and now it's 32.5. Almost enough to go under on the game. 38.5, probably a pretty good one. USC down to 4.5 against UCLA. It was 6.5, 4.5, 63.5. My guess is the UCLA's quarterbacks, they named the quarterbacks playing. They've been not scoring. They have a great defense. So we'll have to check that game. So we got to check the Rice quarterback, the UCLA quarterback, the Air Force quarterback, of course. There's a few of them we've been watching. Troy, 16.5, 47.5. That number hasn't changed. Even though I announced it as the free pick, I thought it'd be up to 20 by now. Troy, I looked at their they got like a 6 defense their last 5 games. Go Troy. Maybe Achilles will show up for us. TCU, 13.5, 60.5. That number hasn't changed. Western Kentucky, 12.5, 53.5. That number hasn't changed. Sam Houston, hard to get a bearing on them. Notre Dame, 24.5, 46.5. That number hasn't changed. I don't know what. Terrible coaching for Notre Dame. You got Hartman, you got that defense and that running back, and you're not blowing out these teams. Something's wrong. Terrible play calling. The Air Force, 2.5, 46.5. Down from 3, depending on their quarterback. If he's out, I like Vegas. If he's playing, I probably don't like Vegas. Vegas, very good team. So, but Air Force has a killer defense. So, without the quarterback, I think Vegas can hang in there. Can they win? I don't know, but they're a very good team. Ohio State, 27.5, 51.5, up from 49. It's senior day at Ohio State, FYI. Oregon, 24.5, 53.5 against Arizona State. They must win because they lost to Washington. And they got one loss, so they're out of the playoff if they lose. Hey, Prophet. I don't think they play each other next week. I think they play each other in 2 weeks. And after Ohio State, it's senior day. Michigan's at home next week. They got one more game. And then it's always like Thanksgiving week is the game. So, no, I don't think it's next week. Look aheads. Could be. Depends who they play next week. But Ohio State, this is senior day. They're not looking ahead. They're gonna crush Minnesota. I'm more worried about Michigan being flat from Penn State against a decent Maryland team. But that's it. Yeah, 2 weeks. Yeah, not next week. Oklahoma State, 6.5, 58.5. Line hasn't moved. I'm not sure what to think of this game. This game could go anyway. I didn't like the play calling last week for Oak State. They only ran the best runner in football like 12 times for 30 yards. It's like, dude, what are you doing? He needs to get the ball 25 times a game no matter what. Auburn, 26.5, 48.5. Where are they? Where did they go? Auburn. Here they are. 26.5 and 48.5. I had to check out New Mexico State's quarterback. Pavia was questionable. He plays. It should go over. Both teams actually have a very good defense, 20 defense, although they're different leagues. Texas Tech, 2.5, 59.5 against UCF. So UCF puts up 90 points on Oak State last week. And now they go to Texas Tech. And you have no idea what you're getting. Is UCF that good? Is they not? I thought I played somebody in this game. Yeah, UCF. I think it got over. I don't know. I don't know if I took UCF or the over. I can't remember. Marshall, South Alabama. South Alabama, 10.5, 47.5. Georgia Southern, 5.5, 61.5 to Old D. Cal Stanford. Cal, 6.5, 54.5. Another the Stanford quarterback's questionable. The fact that the line hasn't moved. If he doesn't play, I like Cal. If he plays, then I probably would go over in the game because this is both defenses suck. They're both 37 defenses. Cal's explosive as hell, but if I don't have Stanford if they don't have the quarterback, they're not going to score. So I can't get over, even though it's only a 54. This is Cal. This is like Colorado playing Stanford. It's only a 54. That's a joke. Kansas State, 9.5, 57.5. Kansas's quarterback Bean's supposed to be fine. K-State with other explosive. Kansas State's won this game at least the last 10 years because when I looked in history, they'd beaten them every time, which is unusual. Kansas had a couple of good teams last year, the year before. So Bean is ready to go, so they'll score on you. They played Oklahoma the 39-33 game, so I think you'll see more of that. Boise, 4.5, 64.5. I don't understand this. Their quarterback's out. They do have a backup who's okay. He's played a lot, the backup. It's just he wasn't very good. They went to the new guy. The new guy's hurt, so they go back to him. Utah State's pretty good team. Bad defense. So I would have went over on it, but I don't like Boise's other quarterback. Oh, okay. They won't. Ohio State won't look ahead. Michigan. Yeah, it's the 18th. Yeah, I know it's Thanksgiving week. Isn't Thanksgiving next week? It's got to be next week, right? Yeah. So when you don't work, you don't know what's going on. Okay. I don't think Ohio State's senior day. They won't look ahead. Michigan, I don't think they'll look ahead. They really can't afford to. They might be a little bit flat off the Penn State. Pretty emotional game. You heard the coach swearing up and down after the game. I never heard an interview like that before. That guy should be fired. What an idiot. And then I don't think it matters. Harbaugh's suspended. He's probably on the phone with them anyway, telling what to do. And then they might have a little trouble with Maryland. I don't know. Maryland's probably their second best team they've played, and they're not very good. Michigan style, they just pound you. They just run it down your throat and play the tough defense. So I don't know. It's really, I don't see them being flat today. Like I said, they'll be a little flat because of the game last week. They might, to Penn State, but I don't know. I look at the Ohio State-Maryland game and just judge it from there. But Ohio State will not be flat. They've been waiting for that game. It's a double revenge next week. Next week, we go to town on that game. Kentucky, South Carolina, 1.5, 51.5. Oregon State's down to 1.5. They were yesterday, 62.5. Yeah, I mean, I don't, like I said, I don't get why Washington's the dog here. That seems pretty automatic. I think the total is pretty low also. I think that's pretty automatic. Arkansas, 29.5, 50.5 against Florida International. Missouri, 10.5, 57.5. Line hasn't moved. Missouri's hot. Wisconsin, 5.5, 37.5. This is definitely an under game. Georgia Tech, 6.5, 53.5 to Syracuse. Hard to say. Georgia Tech's an over team. Syracuse, they won last week against Pitt, but, that doesn't mean a lot. Against the good teams, they got killed, so disappointing. Bobby's team, LSU, 31.5, 73.5. I do not like the over in this game. When I researched Georgia State, they're a 17-34. They're a Z team. They are not an over team. If you looked at their whole stats, they're an over team. But when you look at them in the Sun Belt, they've only scored 17. I'm going back the last 5 games. They're a 17-34, which means they're not going to score, and they give up 34. I'm with Bobby on this one. I think it's LSU big time. Texas, 7.5, 46.5 to Iowa State. Don't know what to do here. I like Iowa State. Normally, Texas, I can't see them losing this game. It's probably a good 1.5 or an under. But Iowa State's their quarterback's been playing pretty well. So they've been doing okay, except for that Oklahoma game when they lost by 60. Fresno State, 23.5, 58.5, up from 56.5. Although I don't know that it's an over game. New Mexico is a 36 defense, but their offense has been shaky. Fresno State gets Mikey Keene back, their quarterback. So I don't know. And San Jose State, 14.5, 48.5. Yeah, that's your midnight game. I would take San Jose State there. San Diego State's just very weak. All right, so finally hit my Friday game. Colorado, Washington State over. I knew I was going to hit it when it went 14-7 in the first quarter, and that was it. So 7 was the second touchdown was they hit Sanders. He fumbled. They sacked him, fumble, touchdown, 50 yards, and then he throws a 50-yard touchdown pass. A couple drives later, there's a minute left in the first quarter. It's 14-7. I go, okay, I'm not getting one of these 3-0 halftime leads like I got with Kansas last week. All right, let's look. Air Force, I'm just going to look at the key. Air Force quarterback is still questionable. All you can do is watch the line. Air Force is laying 2.5. So if it goes down to 1.5, he's not playing. If it goes back to 3.5, I guess he is. So at this point, I'm leaning towards UNLV and the points without the quarterback. App State, nothing. Arizona, nothing. Arizona State. See, Rashada and Pine, both their quarterbacks are out. Then we get to a third quarterback. I guess he's the one playing. So I only see 2 quarterbacks on here. And good luck. They got Oregon. Yeah. Arkansas, nothing. Arkansas State's fine. Auburn, Ball State, Baylor, Boise, their quarterback's out. So Madison, their starters out. But then they've got Green, the backup, is playing. Almost makes you want to take Utah State with the backup in there. I'll think about that. BYU, Slovis, their quarterback's questionable with an arm. They get Oklahoma, I think. Yeah, so I don't think his arm will be feeling too good. We got Oklahoma. Yeah, my arm hurts. Yeah, and that spread went from 24 to 25. So he's been questionable all week. Kale's fine. Couple of questionables, but their main guy's hot. They're running back, and he's fine. That's all we care about on Kale. We don't even care about the quarterback. We just care that Ott's playing. He's like Ollie Davis on Oak State. That's all you care about. UCF's healthy. Coastal Carolina, McCall's out with a concussion, which we knew. Guess the backup is probable. He wasn't too bad, but he's no McCall. Duke, Riley Leonard's out with the toe. Bellin, the backup, is questionable with the upper body, so I don't know what that means. He'll probably play. Florida's got a ton of injuries. Florida Atlantic, Florida State, Fresno State. Mikey Keene's questionable at the head. So your late game, Fresno State 23.5, 58.5 against New Mexico. Mikey Keene's questionable. So they need Mikey Keene to cover that. So if he doesn't play, I don't know if you can take New Mexico. They're kind of their quarterback's been having problems lately, but maybe it's an under game. But I don't want to touch that. Georgia's fine. Georgia Tech's fine. Houston's fine. Illinois' quarterback's probable. Indiana's quarterback, it's not even their right one. Iowa, too many guys injured to name. Iowa State's fine. James Madison's fine. Kansas, being the quarterback, probable with the head's been probable all week, so that's good. Kansas State's fine. Kentucky's fine. Liberty Bibbity's fine. LSU. Diggs, the running back's doubtful. The other running back, Emery's out. I don't think it matters as long as Daniels plays. He's kind of the quarterback running back. Louisville's fine. I don't see any problem why that line moved. Marshall's quarterback's questionable. Maryland's fine. UMass, yeah, Memphis, Miami. Their running backs are probable. Maybe that's why the line moves. So Allen and Paris. Paris, I know I've heard of. They're both probable. And you got Van Dyke. I mean, he's fine. So I have no idea why that line switched. Michigan State. The whole team's out. They're our bitch right now, Michigan State. They got Indiana. Indiana's laying 3.5. I mean, it's like, I think it's an under game, 47 under 53. Yeah, I think that gets it done. I like so many games today. It's crazy. I got to have at least 10 teasers out there. 3 locks and 10 teasers. Minnesota's got Ohio State. They got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys out, 2 wide receivers. And they got another running back questionable, which means he probably won't play. Their quarterback sucks, so you're better off with them. LSU is 10-0 to the over this year. Yeah, well, they have a strong offense and they have no defense. Ole Miss, probable quarterback. Dart, it's probable. Sorry. So Ole Miss is good against playing Lou Monroe. That should be a 75-point win there. Mississippi State, Will Rogers probable with the arm, and the line did show that. Missouri, Cook, their quarterback, probable with an undisclosed, so that's good. I like Missouri. They're a good team. A lot of outs. They're getting some players hurt. Well, they got an out with a linebacker. A DL's questionable. Okay. The Navy, Ty Lavate, questionable. NC State, Nebraska. You got 20 guys on the injury list. Them in Wisconsin, the whole team's on the injury list. Nebraska, New Mexico side, New Mexico State. Pavia is still questionable with an undisclosed. I love these undisclosed. North Carolina's okay. North Texas, Northern Illinois, Northwestern. Their quarterback is playing. That's probably why they went favorite over Purdue. What was that? 1.5. And Northwestern's 2.5 over Purdue. Their quarterback's playing. We'll get to Purdue in a minute. Notre Dame, one receiver's out, Colsey. The other one's questionable. 2 tight ends out. Ohio State, 2 safeties questionable. Linebacker questionable. Tight end out. And they've lost so many wide receivers. They've got 1, 2, 3, 4 wide receivers are gone. But they've been injured for a while. And a couple of running. Yeah, I mean, not the starters, but it just hurts. You don't have the backup. Oklahoma looks pretty good today. Oak State, Bray, their wide receiver is questionable. But the running back's fine, so that's all we care about. Old D. Oregon is healthy. Oregon State's healthy. Penn State. Pitt. Purdue. So Purdue, I mean, they got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 questionables, so I assume they're going to play. And then they got a lot of outs from earlier in the year, so they've already been out. So Purdue should be good. Rice, Jay Daniels, the quarterback is questionable with the concussion. He's got to go through concussion protocol, so we still don't know. All he can do is watch the line. They're now 3. If they go to 3.5 or 4, he's playing, and then we can bet on Rice. Rutgers, don't know. Sam Houston, a lot of running backs out. Well, 2 are questionable, 2 are out. But we don't know anybody on Sam Houston anyway. San Jose State's healthy. South Alabama's healthy. South Carolina. Pretty good. South Florida, okay. USC. 3 wide receivers questionable, which is big for them. Otherwise, they're pretty healthy. SMU's good. Southern Miss. Quarterback's questionable with the hand. Stanford Daniels questionable with the hand still. Motherfucker, let's give me a clue here. I mean, the game's at I think 5 or 6 o'clock, West Coast. Syracuse fine, Temple fine, Tennessee. Wide receiver out, running back out, DB out, DB out. 2 linebackers out, and you're facing Georgia, and then they're betting on Tennessee. Okay, good for you guys. It doesn't make any sense. Let's see. TCU, 3 wide receivers, 2 are out. Otherwise, they're okay. Their starting quarterback's been hurt for a while. Texas State's good. Texas Tech's good. TSA, Toledo, Troy, they're fine. Tulane, Tulsa, their quarterback's questionable. Williams against North Texas, but I don't think I'm worried. I'm waiting on that. UCLA, Garber, the quarterback's probable. Schlee, the quarterback from Kent State, who transferred, is questionable. Dante Moore, the freshman, is also questionable. Garber's is not that good. So if you're going with Garber's, I don't know why people are betting on USC. It's a tough game. I think you've got UCLA's monster defense against USC's monster offense. USC couldn't stop a good college, good high school team with their defense. I mean, I honestly think it's an under because I think UCLA is just going to run the ball and play defense. I don't see them trying to, high temp the game with this quarterback. So it should be like the Colorado game, which was like 24 to 10 or something like that. That's what I'm thinking here. Lou Lafayette, Chris, their quarterback, is questionable, which is good for our Troy team today. Woolridge, their quarterback's out, their starter, and Chris has been their quarterback. They run the ball a lot, but good luck against this Troy defense. Vegas, fine. Utah, Cam Rising's out. Vanderbilt, Virginia, their quarterback, Musket, is doubtful with the foot. They got Duke. Yeah, that turns it probably into an under game because Duke, we know, is super strong defense. Leonard's out. They got the backup. And then you got Musket out for Virginia. They're a pretty weak defensive team, but they won't score if they don't have their quarterback. So this could be an under. It's 45. I mean, I'm telling you, I could play just about every game. It's crazy. Wake. 3 wide receivers questionable. Washington, nothing. 2 wide receivers questionable. And that's it. Everything else is August. So they're very healthy for today. Washington State, well, they won yesterday. West Virginia looks healthy. 3 linebackers out, but 2 of them have been out for a while. Wisconsin, the whole team's out. The whole team's got the flu. All right. There you have it. Well, LSU's an over team. like Oregon is not an over team because they got a good defense. So that's why you look at the teams. That's why we rank them. So like Colorado yesterday, not all their games that went over because they had to play really good defenses like UCLA. They I assume they play Utah next week. I don't think they played them. They played Oregon. They put up 6 points. So when a team like Colorado, which is strong offense and no defense, gets in against these defensive teams, they don't have a chance. So UCLA, shut them out, and Oregon shut them out. Washington State, they got 14 on them. That's why you look at a team like Iowa. Iowa, I bet's been under. Well, no, there was 1 week they played Kent State, they went over. I know I bet them, but I think in the Big Ten they've been under every week. See, then you get a team like Ohio State, and they can score 40 on you, but they give up 10. So you can't look at Ohio State as an over team because of the defense, right? Now you get the Oklahoma, Texas, the Oregon, Washington that goes over. You don't know what to do because they got great quarterbacks, great offense, and great defenses. So you don't know what's going to play. But as we've seen with Oklahoma, maybe the defense isn't as good when Kansas puts up 39 on them and Oklahoma State puts up 27 on them. You realize maybe their defense isn't that good. Ohio State is. Michigan, we still have no idea. Okay, Penn State got 15. Should have got 17 if they kick extra points. I love these coaches that they just assume if they go for 2, they're going to make it. I don't really get it. I mean, I'm understanding like coaching 101. Let's see. We just automatically assume we're going to get 4th downs we're going to make, and we're going to get 2-point conversions. We're going to score. And Franklin's explanation, the Penn State coach, was, well, we know it's going to be a defensive struggle. We need point. We got to get points when we can. Well, then wouldn't you take the one that wouldn't you want to get kick the extra point because it's hard? And do you think you're going to get the 2-point conversion or the 1st down on Michigan and Ohio State, Notre Dame, these strong defensive teams? You think you're going to get the 4th and 1 or the 2-point against them? No, you do it against Illinois and Indiana and Purdue. You can probably do it. Not. Like today, Penn State's got Rutgers. I don't think if they went for 2, I don't think they'd get it today either. There's an 18 defense. And likewise, if you go against Penn State with their 13 defense, I don't think you'd get it. So that's what you try to look at that's why we rank the teams. So you shouldn't be surprised LSU's 10-0 over this year. It's almost like it's like Iowa's probably 9-1 going under. That's why you rank the team. Like Rice isn't over. I bet nobody knew that. They give up 29, they score 40. So of course you want to bet them over when they play a weak defense. That was the strategy last night with the over in the Washington State Colorado. When I looked at their defenses, they give up 34 and 30. We know they can both score. So I know Washington State's going to score on Colorado, and I'm assuming Colorado's going to score. If they're playing Oregon, they're not going to score, right? We know that. So you immediately can't go over in an Oregon game. It's very difficult because of their defense. So you either take Oregon or you leave it alone. USC's an over team, but it's not going to – see, they'll go over against Colorado and they'll go over against Washington, which they got 100 points. They didn't make the over with Oregon. They didn't make it against – well, they're not going to make it against UCLA because of their defense. So when you got this tough defense, that's when it gets difficult. The Colorado-Washington State game is what we want. The over teams, no defense, playing each other, good quarterbacks, and they play a 70-point game. And that's what we want, especially with the 60-point over-under before the teaser. It's down to 54. It's a joke. But what you struggle with is USC, UCLA, where I don't know what to do with it. UCLA does get bad quarterback play. USC, we know, can score. They will score on them. Part of me thinks USC will win a low-scoring game. Part of me thinks go under because it's 63.5. How the fuck are they going to get there? UCLA might score because we know Chip Kelly can find a way to score. He will. I think he runs the ball a lot today to keep it out of Caleb Williams' hands. I think that's because he doesn't have Thompson Robinson quarterbacking this year. If he did, then this would be an easy over, but he doesn't. So he's got to run the ball, and let's play defense. He's got the great defense, which is unusual for Chip Kelly to have a great defense. So that's where you struggle is, do I go over or under? Is USC going to win? Maybe UCLA gets it. Utah, the same type of team, great defense, no offense, beat them. So you're really curious what to do, but they're not they're not even an Oregon, UCLA. They're more of a Utah. And Utah, somehow they played a 35-33 game. So they actually went over with Utah. So we'll see. So that's why I'm like, it could go really either way. So I try to avoid that. There's risk. I don't know what to do. I'm not getting a tell on it. Now, in consequence, Utah, Utah's an under team, 17 defense. Arizona's a B team with the 20 defense. Probably a low-scoring game there. It's probably an under because both teams have good defenses. Utah, without Rising, is struggling, and Arizona, with their backup quarterback, is playing pretty well, but they're still playing low-scoring games. I would be shocked if this got into the 60s. Then you got teams like Oak State. You don't know what to do with them. What are you going to do with them? Okay, they had a great 4-game winning streak, and then the game they played last week against UCF, you got to be kidding me. So you really don't know what to do. And, so it's kind of like, I don't like anything about it. It's at Houston. They're laying 7. Shocked that they got killed last week. The kid threw 3 interceptions. That kills you. Then it takes the running back out of the play. So why is he throwing? Why don't you just have the running back run? They might stop him once in a while, but they're not going to. You give him the ball 20 times, he's going to gain on what you look at. That's why you look at the injuries. If the quarterback's playing or not, then that makes a determination. Then the look aheads. Yeah, Michigan. I don't think Michigan's really looking at it. Maybe they could a little because of the playoffs. They can have the one loss, but then what if they lose to Ohio State? Then they're not in the playoffs. So I think because of the way the playoff is, I don't think Michigan will look ahead. I know Ohio State won't. It's senior day. Oklahoma. Yeah, Oregon. Yeah, I think all the studs win today. Hey, Alex. Do you have the Colorado over? I hit that one. UTSA went over too. Frank Harris, big day. So I got 3 locks going, Alex. Love them. So, yeah, what else? Like Boise State, Utah State, you got 2 overs going, but Boise's got their backup quarterback in, so you got to be careful on that one. But like Utah State gives up 32 a game, Boise gives up 27. So that's what you're looking for. The other team's going to score because your defense sucks. Versus like USC, UCLA. UCLA's got, a 16 defense. So you're not going to score a lot on that defense. That's what you're looking at. Oh, there you go, Alex. No, Washington's not one of my locks. But nice try. I got one lock you couldn't figure out in 1,000 years. You could go through every game, you wouldn't get it that this is my lock today. This is one of my locks. But no, they're good ones, though. I like them. Strong ones. And a lot of it's a feel. I'll look at it. Like, I would lock Cal Stanford, I would have locked at 54 over 48. That would have been a lock in a heartbeat. Then the quarterbacks, Daniels is questioning. We don't know if he's playing. and the number's going down, so I assume he's not. So it kind of fucks that one up. So a lot determines based on the Boise I wanted to play over, but I can't because their quarterback's out. It just sucks. This is one of my locks. Anyway, here's where the playoff gets involved. Teams need to win, and they can't win by 3. Ohio State cannot win this game 10-7 and expect to be number 1 and in the playoffs and everything else. So they must win, and they must win convincingly. Michigan's similar because they haven't played anybody. Oklahoma's behind. They got 2 losses now to Texas with 1, so Texas has to win, and Oklahoma has to win. Although Oklahoma is in trouble getting into the playoffs with 2 losses, even though they were good losses. Oregon's got the loss to Washington, so the pressure's more on them than Washington. Washington doesn't have a loss. Oregon does and can't lose another. Georgia's undefeated. I don't think they're going to have much problem with Tennessee. I know it's going to be emotional there, at Tennessee at night. I think it's at night, but it might be I think it's a 3:30 game. But this is where Georgia's Georgia. They have the defense. They just pound it, and they got the quarterback this year. I don't know if Brock Bowers is playing or not. He's not on the injured list. He's been on the injured list with an ankle November, and I don't see him on the injured list. So maybe he's playing. I don't know what he did to his ankle. I watched the play. He ran out of bounds. Next thing you know, he can't move, and no hit. I did see the Joe Burrow. Okay, he got hurt not on the pass. He got hurt on the sack the play before. He kind of landed funny. I noticed that. I didn't see it. I saw it on the highlights. So he goes back, he gets rid of the ball, and Clowney then kind of hits him late. Should have been a flag. And the way he landed, I think, was on the wrist, and that's what hurt him, not the throw. So how he made the throw, I don't know. But, yeah, he got hurt on the sack. And this is the problem when you're trying to protect your quarterback and you're not allowing it. What the fuck are you letting that play go and not throwing Clowney out of the game? I mean, that's the whole point of it, right? You can't touch the quarterback like that. Why does the Michigan line keep dropping now, 18.5? Okay, good. Yeah, I thought he would be. I did see the line move on that. Yeah, I like Oklahoma anyway. Though I think BYU's been playing terrible. So I got and the line moved from 24 to 25. I don't know why the Michigan line's moving. There's really the only thing is Harbaugh can't be on the sidelines. Is it? I don't really get it. So let's see. Is Oklahoma a big noon game, or I think they might be. Michigan, I see it's 17.5 now. The Sharps coming in. I don't know. Maryland's terrible. I can't imagine. Let me Google that. Miami's favored over Louisville now. Let's take a quick look through the lines. We're getting movement. Northwestern, the 2.5-point favorite now. Yeah, Oklahoma is 25.5 at big noon. Let me do that. Oh, that's one of my locks. There we go. Yeah, I played Oklahoma with Colorado last night. Oh, and I got him again today. Okay. Yeah, I played him twice. I got him in at 24. Again, they have to win, but yeah, it's good that Slovis is out. It's even better. So doing my math, I found a couple of false plays that I'm taking advantage of. Well, I'm waiting to hear on the Rice quarterback if he's playing. Let's take a look. Well, Slovis was questionable last night, so I just assumed he wasn't playing, and they sucked anyway. Let's see. SMU's down to 8.5. That's a good game, SMU Memphis. That hasn't changed. Rice is still 3. Is Rice's quarterback playing, Daniels? No, he got a concussion. I don't know if he's out for the year. I mean, there's only one more week, but yeah, he's got a concussion. He's out. He's been out a few weeks. I think the Virginia quarterback's out. Georgia 9.5. Now it started at 7.5, went to 10, I think, and then 9.5. Who the hell would be betting on Tennessee here? You got to be out of your mind. See, these are where it's analytics and it's all the math. These are people that don't know what they're doing are betting the number. Oh, Tennessee at home getting 10. It's Georgia. You never fuck with Georgia, and you don't fuck with Alabama, and you don't fuck with Kansas City. And there's teams you don't fuck with. Oregon, you don't fuck with them. You just either play them or you maybe look for the over-under on the game. You do not bet against Georgia. That's a law. That's Professor Law. Let's see. USC's 4.5, 62.5. Look at that. It's going down. 63.5 to 62.5. I do like the game under. Unless it's like Utah where they actually got 60 points. Troy, 16.5. See, nobody's going against Troy. Notre Dame, 24.5. Air Force is 2.5 still. I like Vegas in that game if Air Force's quarterback's out. No. SMU's got a 16 defense, so I don't really want to fuck with their defense. Yeah, I know he's questionable, Daniels. I'm hoping he plays. I like Rice if he plays. They're playing Charlotte, right? They'll kill him, but if he's out, then I can't play Rice. I don't think he played last week. Well, do you want to fuck with SMU's defense? It's a 16 defense. They're killing everybody. Memphis is a terrible defense. They're a 29 defense. They are an over. They'll score a lot, but they give up a lot. And SMU, I mean, we like Stone, the quarterback, but the defense, I don't really. I think I'd go SMU minus 2.5 before I'd go Memphis and 15.5, although they actually are at home. Well, you know SMU better than me, but I wouldn't fuck with that strong defense. I don't want anything to do with it. I looked at the over, but again, the defense. So I think SMU, wins good. Ohio State 27.5 now. That's where it's been. Senior day, Oregon 24.5. Oregon is at Arizona State, which is Oak State, our favorite team, 6.5, 56.5, hasn't moved. It was 58.5, I think I got here. 56.5. Let's hope Ollie Davis gets going. Now Texas Tech 2.5, 59.5 against UCF. I kind of like UCF there, or I like the over. I don't remember which one I bet, but it should be high scoring with UCF. They're at 27. They're an over team. Texas Tech is a B. Decent defense, but I don't think you're going to stop Plumlee. So I don't. And the over 60 is a joke. 59.5. Air Force quarterback. Yeah, I know he's quarterback. Well, whatever he hurt a couple weeks ago. So again, I like Vegas if he's out. If he's not out, I'm kind of leaving it alone. I don't want to fuck with Air Force, but if he's out, I like Vegas. I don't know. Stanford Cal, 6.5, 54.5. It's such a low number. If Stanford's quarterback who's questionable plays, this is an easy over. But we'll have to watch the line. This is a 6:30 game, my time. So I would say by 4 o'clock, we'll know if the line goes to 7.5, he's out. If it goes to 5.5, he's playing. Or the 54.5 over. But love Cal over, but Stanford's been a good over, but then the quarterback gets hurt. Kansas State, Kansas State 9.5, 57.5. That line hasn't moved. Why is Boise still favored with their quarterback out? 4.5, I don't know. Oregon 1.5, 62.5. That line hasn't changed. Missouri 10.5, 57.5. Yeah, it's the same. Wisconsin 6.5, 37.5. Money going on when Nebraska's they don't have a quarterback, but they got good defense. LSU 31.5, 73.5. I did not play the over in this game. Georgia State's not going to give you anything. They got a 17 offense the last 5 games in the Sun Belt. I don't think they're going to light up LSU as bad as their defense is. Texas 7.5, 45.5 to Iowa State. Interesting. Texas must win. They did lose a game to somebody. I don't remember who. Let's see. Now it bothers me. What did Kansas State? No, Kansas State didn't get them. I don't think Kansas got them. Who got Texas? Oklahoma. That's right. Duh. And Oklahoma loses 2. Texas. Okay, so Texas loses 1 to Oklahoma. Okay. So Texas is in the driver's seat because even if they lose, then they'd be tied, and Oklahoma gets it because they beat them head up. So interesting game for Texas here. They have to win, but Iowa State's not an easy pushover. That under, I've already been under on Texas once against K-State. I'm not doing it again. And then San Jose State, 14.5, 50.5. That's your midnight feast, San Jose State. So I don't know what's going on in Michigan. Let me Google that. So Thompson Robinson, UCLA, is going to be the Cleveland quarterback. He's better than PJ Walker. We know how good he is. I thought he should have been the quarterback the whole time. Um, Michigan injury report, week 12 injury. Starting left tackle, Henderson's out. Big fucking deal. They are looking much healthier. Unfortunately, one of their couple of injuries of the week, left tackle Henderson. Oh, left tackle Henderson, running back Danny Hayes, I'd never heard of. There's no questionable. It's not an injury. I have no idea. Maybe it's this whole spy thing, Spygate 2, where they're doing it. I have no idea. But there's no injury to Michigan making the line go down. Is the total still 50? I mean, the total will tell you if there's a quarterback injury. $17 and a half, 50 and a half. So the total hasn't moved. The number, it's these analytic guys calculating the square root of 19, going, oh, in my model, I got Maryland, they're only going to get beat by 17. Oh, we can get 18. I'm betting them. That's how stupid these idiots are. But no, I would never bet Maryland in this situation. This is purely a Michigan play. Maybe it's not an underplay because Maryland can actually score, but I tease it down to 11. That's gold, and I think under 56 is gold in that game. Middle Tennessee rolls Utah. I don't know. UTEP's a W team. Middle Tennessee's an E. They both have 28 defenses, so I'm not sure. Has Middle Tennessee been playing better? I'd have to check my stats on that. I don't know. Well, what you like? You're just betting against UTEP because their quarterbacks suck. They don't score. Maybe, but I don't know if Middle Tennessee can take advantage of them that good. We'll see. I kind of like Texas State over Arkansas State. They're explosive. Arkansas State isn't. And you get 3.5, you get 2.5 there. So you don't even have to win, but I think we'll be fine with Troy. Notre Dame, Wake Forest, I have no idea. Notre Dame's a mystery. Their coaching is so bad. You got Hartman and this running back. You're not averaging 40 points a game. Are you out? Are you insane? And now you got Hartman throwing interceptions. You got Van Dyke, who was benched last week for Florida State, comes in late. Now you got them playing Louisville. I mean, what is going on? These coaches they can only handle these running quarterbacks. They can't handle a Hartman and a Van Dyke. They don't know what to do with them. They don't know how to call Tom Brady plays, right? It's insane. Yeah, UCF T-Tech. I don't remember which way I played that game. I liked it both ways. I liked UCF an 8.5, and then I liked over 54. Tech should score, but you got to make sure you got the right Tech team. So Tech gives up 24. So they're not this over team that gives up 35 a game. UCF, we saw what happened last week, but they got 3 interceptions. Are they going to get 3 interceptions from Tech? See, that's what screws you up. You get the interceptions, the turnovers. It's a high-scoring game. You think, oh, look how explosive. But if you don't get the 3 interceptions, it's not a high-scoring game, and you'll have to see. So, again, UCF at home, emotional. They get the turnovers against Oak State. Now they're on the road. Now Texas Tech's emotional. That's why you got to have a good defense to play these road teams. So I'm not sure what I did here. Probably over, I think. I don't know. Anyway, I'm waiting on the Cal, Stanford, and the Air Force game. So I'll probably put those in at 4 o'clock. So keep the eye on the pick page. Those who are buying the picks. What do we got? We got 11:30, so we got a half hour. Changing the subject for 1 second, I was on Google and I saw where Europe is getting ready to go on the gold system, the gold standard. All the central banks have got enough gold to cover their GDP for some reason, which is really strange. So some people that had a lot of gold are like getting rid of it, so they only have enough gold to cover their GDP. So, how far is the gold price going to go up? Because once it's gold standard, the price has to go up because they've got to cover all the money. So the gold price will go up. Now, the question is, what does COMEX do? And how much price fixing can they keep doing? But so you're going to have Russia on a gold standard. You're going to have BRICS on a gold standard. You're going to have Europe, all the euros on a gold standard. So this might be worth something if they gold standard it. It might be worth 10 cents. The one, see, you'll have to be careful. This will not have a value. They'll come out with a new this, and this will be probably gold, and this will probably say gold, gold standard or something, or backed by gold. Then there's confidence. I know the money's good. You've got the gold to back it up. The only person who doesn't is the fucking U.S., the U.S. morons. It's just, you just shake your head. How stupid are we? Like, why would the rest of the world have gold but us? Why do we not think gold's good? And it's really just because they're Keynesians. They're communists, want to take over the U.S., and they're going to ruin it because once you get out of the free market system, it doesn't work. Russia had it. Russia had communists. They went bankrupt, as everybody else. Once you get out of gold, you're fucked. So I don't know what we're doing. We've got the power, and it's like we just traded Mahomes for Joe Blow, right? And then we wonder why KC's not the best team anymore. That's about what we're doing. He's gold, and then we're going to trade him for a box of peanuts, and then wonder why we stink. Well, that's the U.S. We got rid of all our gold, and we're going to wonder why do we stink. Unbelievable. Anyway, so I hope you enjoyed my Ponzi scheme video yesterday. Pretty fucking accurate. We're all Ponzi schemed, unless you're into gold and silver. It's crazy. Only this time the Madoff is the government is the Madoff. People are saying the Michigan line is dropping due to it being a look ahead to Ohio State week. Well, where are they getting that from? Has Michigan ever looked ahead against Ohio State? No. I know. I always kept an eye on that for the last 50 years. They do not look ahead for Ohio State. I don't know why they would say that, especially when you're a defensive team. A defensive team, uh, you never look ahead. You just come out and you play defense. Maryland, Tagovailoa was terrible. He'll throw 3 picks today. They're not going to move. They won't score, Maryland. I don't care. They're not going to score. I could see because Harbaugh's not on the sidelines. I could see because the Penn State game, they're a little flat, but I don't know where they're getting this look ahead from. That's bullshit. That's not true at all. Mm-mm. The only thing you could really say is that Michigan hasn't played anybody, and this is the first decent offense they played besides UNLV. Nebraska, Rutgers, none of them had an offense. Michigan State, Penn State couldn't throw the ball 20 yards. I heard that stat. I couldn't believe it. They only had 4 catches over 20 yards all season. And all the receivers have been hurt. They've had 6 receivers out for Penn State. Maryland, I think they got a couple of receivers out today for the game. I don't buy that. That sounds like a Ponzi scheme to me. You don't bet Maryland because you think Michigan's looking ahead to Ohio State. Why would they look ahead? They don't do that. I don't think Oklahoma or Texas looked ahead of their game, or Oregon, Washington. I don't think you look ahead in today's playoffs. They can't lose today, lose to Ohio State, and they're out of the playoffs. No, they can't. You can't look ahead. Harbaugh doesn't have them looking ahead. And again, with the running game and the defense, how do you look ahead? You keep going. And if they got down, they would just boom ahead. They don't look ahead. That's bullshit. Sorry, I don't know where that's coming from. It isn't real. I would never bet Maryland in this situation. This is either take Michigan -11 or go under 56. There is never a take Maryland, and I could have had them at 19. I could have had them at 25. I didn't want them. Michigan, that's the play. It's either Michigan, if you think Maryland's not going to score, or the under. But never in the scenario do I take Maryland. No. That's a stupid play. It's unjustified, and it's just a guess. It's probably bookies who have too much money on Michigan wanting some Maryland action. Prophet, don't kid yourself. Harbaugh is still coaching from behind the scenes, so I know that. Yeah, I don't agree with it. I'm just seeing the talk on Twitter. Yeah, tell him to go talk to me. I'll straighten him out. So go on Twitter and say, why do you think they're going to look ahead? You're going to look ahead maybe against they're playing Indiana or somebody, or Illinois, some weak team. Maryland's a pretty decent team. Maryland is they're an E team with the 22 defense. That's not the team you're going to look ahead. You can't lose in today's college football, right? You got Ohio State next week. You can't lose this game and that and make the playoffs. So there's no looking ahead. Yeah, I said that. 17.5. That's okay. Let's put it this way. This is Madoff trying to bet Michigan. This is COMEX, right? I want to buy gold, so I'm going to play derivative gold to get the price down, and then I can buy it cheaper. That's what this is. This is buying gold cheaper. Now watch the action go on Michigan at 11.5 in a teaser instead of 14. I mean, it's a much better number. I'm not betting it because I got 20 games I'm betting, and I'm waiting on the Cal Stanford and the Rice game and the Air Force game, so I'm not betting it now. But that's what That's all it is somebody wanting to bet on Michigan and want the line lower. But Maryland, really? Let's take a look at Maryland. I know they haven't beaten anybody good because they're not a good team. They got a terrible coach. Tagovailoa was a joke, like his brother. So let's see, is it because they beat Nebraska 13-10? Oh, wait, Penn State beat them 51-15. They lost to Northwestern. They lost to Illinois. Ohio State beat them 37-17. They beat Indiana, who sucks. Michigan State, who sucks. Virginia, I guess that's Charlotte and Townsend. Okay, so their best win is the, let's see, Michigan State's a Z team. Virginia's a Z team. Charlotte's not good. Indiana. Okay, the best wins Indiana, 44-17. Now they've just lost. They've lost 4 in a row and then beat a terrible Nebraska team 13-10. You're putting up 13 on Nebraska, 15 on Penn State, and 17 on Ohio State. You want to bet this team against Michigan with the 7 defense? And how many points are you thinking they're going to score in this game? Let's see. 15 Penn State, 17 Ohio State, 13 Nebraska. How many points are you thinking they're going to score? At most, 10, maybe. If they're lucky, they get 10 points. They get 1 lucky touchdown. Michigan will put up their 30. They win 35-10. They win by 25. They cover the 11.5 in a teaser. You know, they're 2 big games. I think they were healthy against Ohio State, 37-17. They lost only by 20. Penn State, they just killed them. That game was at Maryland. And how about the Illinois game? They lost 27-24. And then they lost to Northwestern 33-27. So what are they looking at that you would possibly want to bet Maryland in this situation? That's how you analyze the game, not on a hope that, you know, maybe Michigan's looking at Ohio State, which they never do. They usually have to play Wisconsin or Michigan State, or a lot of the times they've had to play Wisconsin the week before, or Iowa, or somebody decent the week before. They never had a problem getting a Purdue. They'd kill them. No, Michigan's very good at 1 game at a time, and we got to win it, and then they get ready for Ohio State. These games at noon at 3:01, they'll be ready for Ohio State. They'll start getting ready, but not here. Yeah, he's playing. I knew that. Yeah, they'll kill Southern Miss. That's the game you should be looking at, not Middle Tennessee, I think. They might win, but I don't know. You like to make it hard on yourself, Alex, with betting against SMU and betting against taking Middle Tennessee State. Here's Mississippi State, 17.5 to Southern Miss with their quarterback back. They're just laying it right out there for you. I don't know. Oklahoma, right on the platter. Oklahoma, Ohio State. Georgia's always available. Alabama's got Chattanooga today. They're laying 45 to Chattanooga. Like, what are you? If you can even bet the game, which I don't even know. But, yeah. No, I don't. Michigan will win 38-10. I mean, it'll be a typical Michigan blow them out type of game. Because when you can run and play defense, see, the key is when you can play defense. When you can play defense, it's not like you're going to get 3 interceptions. So like Oak State last week got 3 picks, right? And it killed us, killed me. But in this situation with with a good defensive team, you never have to worry about it. Look at Oregon. They had one loss to Washington, 36-33, because their coach was too stupid to kick 2 field goals and punt the ball deep, or Oklahoma wins. I mean, what the fuck was that? So that's really what you're looking at. The defense travels and shuts you down. The offense can turn the ball over, right? So that's why we look for good defensive teams. Yeah. Anyway, so we're going to wait and see. So Cal Stanford's a good over if Daniels plays. If he doesn't, I think I'm taking Cal even. I think that's probably the way to go. But again, I'm waiting. I would prefer to go over. It's only 54. I go over 48. Cal's probably going to get me 48 on their own. Very explosive team and 237 defenses. This is just like, I can't believe Stanford's quarterback's out. And then the problem is we don't know their backup. So how do we play Stanford? I'm sure he's not terrible, but you know. And that's it. So we've only got about 10 teasers, 3 locks. A little bit tomorrow. I look at college. I can find games out of our ass. I look at the pros, and I'm like, I gotta bet Love, and when I look at the pros, it's like, now Love. Why is Love starting? I think Tannehill's ready. I got to bet on what? Trevor Lawrence, Fields, O'Connell, Prescott, and Steve Young, and Mayfield, and okay, Stafford, Zach Wilson, Dobbs. I got to bet Dobbs couldn't start in the Pac-10. I gotta bet him on Minnesota. Yet in the college, it's a piece of cake to find these teams. You get truer overs and unders, and you get explosive teams. You get teams scoring 40 a game. And don't forget, Michigan scores upper 30s. We're in the pros. I don't think I got one over team: San Diego, Detroit, Miami. I only got 3 over teams in pros. I got 50 in college. I mean, this is why it's so hard. Pros are really unorganized, and it's so difficult to really pin down the type of team you have. Even Kansas City this year is an under team. They're not an over team. They're not going to score a lot. They might get more because of Philadelphia going to score on them. But that's what you have. I mean, mostly the problem is like the Jets are an under team because they don't have Rodgers. Kansas City's an under team. They got Mahomes. Then you got like Minnesota and Denver are under teams. Well, Denver playing good, but Minnesota doesn't have a quarterback. So they're an under team. And the pros are much more difficult to fully analyze than the college. Like we talked, we can bet Ohio State over many. It's senior day. Well, we don't have senior days in the pros. But things that'll pump them up, and in the pros, you don't have that. And you got so many injuries because they don't want to play preseason. Each team's got 15 guys out or questionable or doubtful. That how do you bet 4th stringers? And that's really your problem in the pros. You have no fucking idea. Anyway, with college, we got 15 minutes. Any other spots? I guess we'll just look for. Like I said, I'm looking for the Rice quarterback. I'm looking for the Air Force quarterback and the Stanford quarterback, which I won't probably know. Well, Rice, I don't know if I'll know. Air Force is tonight, and Stanford's tonight. So we will see. But, yeah. Anyway, I'm not betting LSU over today. No. Because Georgia State's a fake. They only score 17 a game. They're not going to score much here. Yeah, it'll be an interesting USC UCLA. I think will be an under. But we will see. Utah, Arizona, another good game. Arizona's been a surprise. They've been an under team, which you never. That's the problem. You never would know that at the beginning of the year. They're an over team last year. Now they got a really good defense, but it takes you 6 games to realize they got a really good defense. That's the problem in college. That first week they play in Division II teams or MAC teams, and you don't have, they win 32-0. It doesn't mean anything until they get into conference, which is already 5 weeks in. And then you get a team like Michigan who didn't play anybody in conference till last week. Here we go to week 13, and we'll finally know if Michigan's any good or not when they play Ohio State. The game's at Michigan. I'm expecting Michigan to be a 7-point favorite. Over under probably 47, which means we're taking Ohio State in 13 and going under 53. That will be a lock. If I can get at least 47, I'm locking the under in the game. Because Ohio State is playing the whole year has been stopping Michigan's run. And that's the defense. Their quarterback's not very good. Michigan's quarterback's not very good. They'll pressure him. It's going to be low. It'll be like the Notre Dame game, I think. So that's next week. So with the first line that comes out, if it's over 47, to just bet it under. We'll find somebody to put it with. That's the hardest thing with these early teasers is, okay, I found that one. Who do I put it with? Now I can put it with. That's that Monday trying to get it in and trying to find the team to put it with. Now, one of our friends yesterday asked me about my eating. Why do I eat during the show? And I said, because I fast. So like today, I haven't eaten yet. It's almost 12 o'clock because I don't eat till sometimes 11:30. But today it's noon. I haven't eaten yet. That's why I eat when I do a 1 o'clock show, because I haven't eaten. Because now I'd go to swim and I'd go and then I'd come home and I'd be hungry from not only the fast but the swim. I'll go swimming later because it's a Chinese day today, and I will do that. But so not because you made a comment about the eating, but because I don't eat at 10 o'clock. I'll have coffee or water, but I didn't have time. I slept in pretty good today. But I didn't stay up for Colorado. I saw 14-7, and it was okay. That's a winner. And I woke up, and they scored 80 points, 70 points. Beautiful. That's what I see. I got the expected outcome. 2 strong offenses with 2 weak defenses. It should be an over. And there was a game a couple weeks ago. I think it was Texas Tech, Kansas, or something like that. And it was 3-0. No, it was Texas Tech. Yeah, I don't know if it was Kansas or not. It was 3-0 at half. And you're like, oh, yeah, and Bean got hurt. Kansas's quarterback got hurt. But, I mean, there's no way it's a 3-0 halftime with the 2. That's the point of the bet, is they're good quarterbacks with no defense. This is not going to be low scoring. LSU. If LSU's up 7-0 at the half against Georgia State, that's ridiculous. You expect LSU to be up 35-0 at the half against Georgia State. I don't know that Georgia State's going to score here. They might, but they're like Maryland. They're a 17 offense the last 5-6 weeks. They're not scoring. I'm noticing other team, BYU's struggling, and Miami. I don't know what Miami's doing. Let's see. There's a couple other. New Mexico, I think, has been struggling. They've been an over team, and now lately they're not scoring. Colorado State's like that, where they're not scoring. So these teams, they ebb and flow. There's streaks. So I was playing Oak State. They were hot, and I won a lot on them until last week. Kansas has been hot. Kansas State's been hot. Georgia's been rolling. Alabama's been red hot since their loss. Duke was hot, cooled down. A lot of the other teams, I don't know. Notre Dame has not been hot. They've been playing shit ball with their talent to lose to Louisville, and then I think they lost another game. It's like, really? They got 3 losses. Like, really? Anyway, that's what we got. So let's see how UCF TT does tonight. I think it's close. I think it's high scoring. I think it's close. But we'll see. Maybe Texas Tech's a strong defensive team. We don't realize it. And they'll keep it under. I don't know. But I'm hoping UCF plays like they did last week, getting the turnovers. Otherwise, and then Alex goes after these Middle Tennessee against UTEP games. Those are, you got to know the teams, and you got to know what's going on and how the quarterback's been doing and what have they been doing the last few weeks. 28 defenses, so you're not expecting. It's a weird game because there are 28 defenses, went over under 47. UTEP's got a lot of injuries. Middle Tennessee had a lot of injuries. Again, they're skewed because they played Michigan. So they lost 38-0 or whatever. I don't know. But if you're on Twitter or any of these and you hear this bullshit, well, Michigan's looking ahead or this or that. I mean, this is what I'm warning you against. I warn you a lot against with gold and investing more than this is don't listen to it. You've got to know yourself. I didn't listen to it. I didn't bet the game. I sat there going, oh, Michigan. The only thing I thought of was they might be a little flat from the Penn State game. I thought they played Ohio State in 2 weeks, but I realize it's the 18th and next week's Thanksgiving. So, hello. God. Well, when you don't work, it's kind of like every day's a holiday, I guess. I don't know. That's funny. But I don't think these teams look ahead like that. I really don't think too many, unless you're new to it. Let's say all of a sudden, Illinois. Now they got a big game with Iowa. Well, what do they got today? They got Iowa. They actually got Iowa. So now it's for the conference championship. But next week Illinois. Let's say that's next week's games. So Illinois got Rutgers today, but Iowa the championship games next week. That might be a look ahead because they haven't been there before. Michigan, Ohio State do not look ahead because they're playing each other. And I guarantee you Ohio State is not looking ahead to Michigan. They've been looking ahead for 2 years now, since they lost to them 2 years ago. And I told you they'd have blood in their eyes last year, and then they got killed. Then so they've been thinking Michigan for 2 years now. They're not gonna screw up this game for that game because they know a loss and then a loss, they're out of the playoffs, so they can't lose it. But they're not looking ahead. Real D, a lot of teams try and fight to be bowl eligible. Yeah. Although now, what do you need? 5 wins, 6 wins? Some do. It's worth money to them, but I think most of the teams we bet on are already bowl eligible. I'm not worried about Ohio State getting bowl eligible or Oregon or something like that. I do agree with you, but again, I think it's more critical to watch the quarterback and watch the defense. Well, look at last night. Colorado's trying to be bowl eligible. They got killed, and they get Utah next week. They're not going to win another game. That's why I couldn't believe everybody. All right, they had a big deal against TCU, who UC is not very good this year. TCU, are they even playing? Yeah, they're a 25 defense. They've lost their quarterback. They're average this year, not what they were last year. That's what's kind of strange. As good as they were last year, they shouldn't be this bad this year because they should have been able to get recruits. This is what this whole thing with this transfer portal that we are trying to figure out. You don't get the same team, but the bigger teams seem to get a lot of the little talent. And I think that's what's happening in the MAC, maybe a little in the Sun Belt or Conference USA, where these teams are so bad. Like in the MAC, these teams suck. I mean, only Toledo and Miami of Ohio are any good. I mean, I got 4 Z teams in the MAC. Kent State, the whole team left. The coach left. The quarterback left. So it's very strange, this transfer portal. I don't know what the NIL is. It's not supposed to be. I don't know. How much are they paying these guys? So you're Ohio State. How much are you paying Marvin Harrison? $100,000? I mean, where are you getting that money from? So I don't get that, but that's the bigger teams. But, you're a good player and you're at Central Michigan and you get a chance to jump to Washington State. I get that. They didn't recruit you. You're a good player. Now they want you. And now you get exposure. You can get drafted. Okay, that makes sense. But then it leaves, is that what we're going to run into? The Central Michigans are going to suck every year because they can't get players because they're all 1 year and then jumping if they're any good. If they're bad, the team sucks anyway. So this is again, let's fuck up the bettors. They're making, see, my theories for betting for the last 40 years have been consistency. Who can I bet on? Joe Montana, Lawrence Taylor, da-da-da-da-da. And now it's, well, wait, Joe Montana's now went from Notre Dame to Oklahoma. What do I do? And then he's got to get used to Oklahoma. This has been the problem. All right, 11:57. So enjoy the games. I'll stay on for a little bit, but good luck today. Again, 3 locks going. What game are you going to turn in and watch? I'm going to the pool, so I got to eat dinner, lunch, go to the pool. I think I'll watch the Michigan game a little bit. I don't have a bet on it, so I think I'll watch that. But there's really, I probably want to watch the Georgia-Tennessee game until Georgia's up 30 points. And then tonight, the Washington-Oregon State looks like a good game. Or the Kansas State game looks like a good game. So I like to watch that. But we'll see. I can't watch all that on then the 10:30 game, so it's too much. I got to reserve my brain to think, so I can't. But if I do, I'll start looking at next week's games while I'm watching. But I just assume, so I'll probably watch the Colorado highlights from yesterday, UTSA. Tomorrow I watch most of the college highlights, not the pro games. Are too boring. But I'll watch like the 4:00 game is what I try to do. But no, I'm my normal. I'll go swim. I made hamburgers. So I'm going to make an omelet with a hamburger omelet as soon as we're done. But yeah, that's why I don't understand like the Peacock Network. Oh, we're going to put the Michigan, UTSA game on Peacock. Well, nobody gives a fuck. I'm not going to go buy Peacock to watch that game when I got the Ohio State game on, or the Oregon game, or the Notre Dame game, or the USC game. There's always going to be those because they got to have those on. Otherwise, I want people to watch the channel. I don't want it to say, sorry, only people that are subscribers can watch. I have that option. But why would I choose it? I want to bring in new viewers and teach and new customers. And so I don't want to do that. And that's what they're doing. They're saying, oh, well, you got to subscribe to what? Well, fuck you then. I'm not going to subscribe. That's like YouTube saying, well, if you want commercial free, I think it's $11 or $12 a month to watch commercial free. So even if you buy a movie on YouTube, you're going to get commercials. I was watching this movie yesterday, Foul Play. Every 3 minutes there was a commercial interruption, but it was a 5-second one. So it's 3 minutes, boom, commercial, skip, and you're trying to get back to the plot. Like, what the fuck was I watching? I mean, it's so annoying. I don't know. See, YouTube thinks, oh, everybody will buy it so they don't see the commercials. Or, well, as soon as there's competition, we'll go out. So I've been on eBay buying movies that I want to watch that I don't want to watch. Like Pluto and Tubi are getting really, they're getting a lot of commercials. One of them was like you get 6 commercials each little 5 minutes. It's like, how the fuck can you watch it? I was watching 24 on Roku, and then it was like every 5 minutes there was commercial. It was like 5-6 commercials that I basically will not watch Roku anymore. I mean, so you're driving away your customers. You're not making me buy it. I'm not spending $20 on your premium shit. That's why I got away from cable. You've got to think you can't throw out the commercials and everything and think that's going to help. Most of the games are on YouTube for free. No, just the highlights are on YouTube for free. You have to PVR it to avoid the commercials. I don't know, what does PVR mean? Yeah, these commercials are really annoying. Well, they break the concentration of the movie and they're not at the right time. At least if you're watching channel, CBS, it's 10 minutes and then it ends, and then here's the break in the show or the movie, and then you do the commercial. So it's not interrupting the middle of a sentence. I hate that. Like, there's a football and the guy's kicking the field goal, goes to commercial. All you know is he's kicked the ball and that's it. And then you come back. You might have to rewind it to see the kick go through or not. I mean, it's ridiculous. What is PVR? Profit. PVR. I hate. Don't do that, because I don't know what the hell you're talking about with PVR. Just spell it out. What is it? I don't use acronyms on you guys in economics. So anyway, I did see that Europe is going to the gold standard. All their countries are having gold in the central bank, with China and Russia. So we're just looking. I think that breaks COMEX. Once they do it, they'll need a higher gold price, and that's what we're waiting for. And then we can go, and then we don't have to. Mark McGuire yesterday was terrible. Jesus. Well, you saw the comments I left to him. It was just ridiculous. You record the movie first, then when you watch it, you can fast forward through the commercials. I don't have a DVR. So I can't do that. I don't have cable. I used to, when I had like cable, they gave you the box and you could DVR it. But one thing I did notice is if you kind of don't watch the movie, like I was doing this with rounders on and they'd skip the commercials. But when you get to the end of the movie, if you rewind the movie on Pluto or Tubi, if you just hit the rewind and rewind it back to the beginning, it'll skip all the commercials. But you have to play the movie first to skip all the commercials. I'm not sure if I were to fast forward it to the end and then do that, if it would skip all the commercials. But I mean, there's times it's 5-6 commercials. You're like, what the fuck? I mean, and the thing is, you're not watching any of the commercials. You're waiting for it to end. You're in the middle waiting for the show to begin. You're not looking for commercials. PVR is a digital recorder. Yeah, well, that's what a DVR, same thing. You should get Fire Stick cable. It has a lot of good stuff. What is Fire Stick cable? See, I don't want I mean, I'm not paying $100 for cable. I'm fine. I got the antenna, so I got 2 4. Like, all I want is like today to be able to watch the football games, which I can see on Fox and ABC, is fine. So I don't have a problem with that. As I said, during the week, I watch a lot of YouTube, and then I'm buying some more DVDs. I lost a lot because when I moved from Alabama, I told the movers to fuck off because they wanted to nickel dime me and all this shit. And I replaced most of it, but I got lucky in that I knew the movers would take a few weeks. So I said, well, I better bring my dishes and my clothes for 2 weeks to have until the movers got there. So fortunately, the only thing I didn't have is like my dining room table. So I bought a new one or stuff like that. But I got my dishes and my pots and pans and everything else. So, pardon me. Who may this be? So that's Daria. She's got the flu. So she's just saying what's going on. She's sore and tired. So I don't know what is Fire Stick cable. Why? How much is it? What's the benefit? But see, right now I don't pay. I got the antenna. Paid for the antenna. Roku's free. I got the Roku TV, and I get Tubi and Pluto for free. I still have. The only reason I have Netflix is because of Money Heist. All the other movies, it's like, who gives a fuck? I've watched the movie. How many times am I going to watch this movie? That's I don't like Netflix. I think it's done stupidly, where it should not be, it should just be a library and just choose. Like YouTube. Well, YouTube's different because you got to buy the movie, but still, if you're going to get commercials, there's no point in it. But I just went to eBay and bought several movies that are like $3 or $4 free shipping, So I'll just do that. I don't need the Tubi, but there's like North Dallas 40 I found on it's on Pluto now. I always like that football movie. Yeah, I watch it. I grin and bear through the commercials, and it's that if I watch it again, it's the same spot. Or Attack on Wall Street. I was watching that last night to cheer me up. It always cheers me up, that movie. And I always call the guy an idiot for listening. You said it would be 0% risk. And I'm like, yeah, bet on Maryland because Michigan's going to look ahead. Yeah, okay. You know this. Oh, okay, for sure. Mm-hmm. So again, Ponzi scheme, it's terrible. Governments are fucking everybody over. The governments are all run by banks now. It's not what it's supposed to be. The problem is, how do you stop it? And then the problem is, you must understand the game. So the banks, it's all about them printing money and keeping it and not giving you any. And then not only that, but then it destroys the value of the money. So everybody gets fucked. So this is like a reverse Madoff where everybody, even if you're not in it, are going to get crushed. So again, gold's the only way out of the Ponzi scheme. What's your thoughts on Joe Biden loan forgiveness fund? I mean, what is loan forgiveness? I mean, what is that? No, you take out a loan, you pay it back. There's no loan forgiveness because at the end of the day, the people that are paying are the ones that have to pay for it. The government never pays for anything. So if you're talking about student loans, the student should pay it back. You took out the loan, but I wouldn't even go to school if I was them now because it's not worth your return on investment. If it's going to cost me 100 grand, how long is it going to take me to make 100 grand just to get out of the debt and then to start living? So no, I don't agree with any of that bull. The government should not get involved with banking. If the loan, why is school so expensive should be the question. But well, why doesn't he? If you got a car loan, why do you have to pay that back? Well, I got a mortgage. Why do I have to pay that back? See, why do you draw the line there? It's none of your business. It's between the person and the bank. And if the bank wants to say don't pay the loan back, okay, but he shouldn't be involved. He doesn't know anything about economics. I'm not sure he knows what day it is. It hurts the people. How about the other people? What if you went to school already and got a loan and paid it off? Now these people aren't going to have to pay it off. And who's going to pay all this money if you forgive the loan, which you're not have no business forgiving? You forgive the loan, and then where's that money coming from? Thin air? You're going to print more? Oh, that's more inflation. But you're too stupid to understand what inflation is. So it's it's one of the stupidest things I've ever heard of. I don't know why he's involved with it. Obviously for votes, but think about who's gonna pay that off, and then how about the other people that have already paid off their loans? They got fucked. Here's why these people. I mean, it's terrible. Where that money coming from? College loan forgiveness. I'm talking. Yeah, I got that. No, it's stupid. It's anything he does is stupid, right? He doesn't know what day it is. I doubt it's even him. I think it's Obama running everything, or it's Chinese and George Soros running our country into the ground. And we're becoming communists. And you don't want communist country. Go to Russia. Ask those people. They all fly here. I'm talking to Daria, who lives in St. Pete, and she's, oh, I want to live in America. I don't want to live here. I'm ready to move there because at least I'll have a gold back currency I can survive on. But yeah, Russia's a terrible place to live. It's communist. Do you want to live in a communist country? Well, we got one here. It's very bad here. But no, government should not get involved. This is all free market economics, right? It's up to the market. If you do a loan, so you get a new car, and you buy a Camry, it's $30,000. You pay 10% now on it, and so you pay so much. Well, that's between you and the bank. The bank gave you the money for the car, so you owe the bank. You pay the bank. If the bank says, "Hey, you know what? Forget it. Don't pay me back," that's really weird. But you owe the bank. You borrowed it and got a car. You borrowed the money to go to school. Now the question should be, why did you borrow the money? Why did you go to school if it's so expensive? You probably shouldn't have, because you'll never get it back. You got this big burden as you're looking for a job that you can't get in the middle of a freaking recession that we're in, thanks to the banks printing the money and the Ponzi scheme. So that's really the problem, is since it's a Ponzi scheme now, you kill the economy, you kill the currency, you kill everybody, because now our dollar's worthless. It's so much more expensive for utilities and food, and rents up and everything like that. So that's the problem. It makes it very difficult. And the banks are printing the money, and they don't realize. They think, oh, we'll just print more money. Oh, the debt's $1 trillion a month. Oh, we'll just print more money. You can't print the money without having a problem. And the problem is, if you print the money, it's worth less until it's not worth anything. And with all this gold back currency, So if you got Europe now with the gold-backed euro and Russia with the gold-backed ruble and the BRICS with the gold-backed BRICS, who wants the dollar? What's the dollar's worth? Nobody wants it. It doesn't have a value. I cannot sell my Canadian club if there's no buyers. This is what a market is. I have something to sell. Is there a buyer? They say yes. Okay, there's a market. If nobody wants to buy this, you know how much this is worth? Zero. If nobody wants to buy it. And now we're going to run into this switch over from dollars to gold, and the problem's going to be we don't have any gold. Well, me and you do, but 99% of these 350 million people are too fucking clueless to buy gold. And when you try to tell them, they're too fucking clueless to listen. And there's nothing you can do. You just sit there, and I used to try to help them, and now I don't even try to help them. The fat guys who have diabetes, I don't try to help them anymore either. It's not worth it. It's just like, I've become very stoic. I just go in. I don't really pay attention to anybody. I'll go in, I'll do my swim, I'll do my bike, and I just walk out. And if somebody knows me and says hi, I'll talk to them. But otherwise, I basically just there, take my hot tub and get dressed and go. And I'm like, fine. I'm not gonna go up to people and try to tell them, because they don't want to hear it. People don't want to hear buy gold and silver, the dollar's collapsing. It's too complex of a question for them to even understand it, right? You have to go into a class and understand that the dollar's worthless. You can't just say that. You have to understand and explain it. Well, they're printing trillions and trillions of dollars, and they're pocketing it because they're a bunch of crooks, and they don't think there's a problem. They think they can just keep printing it. They don't realize you can't. We do. We know you can't. And then out of the Ponzi scheme, I buy gold and silver. Oh, okay. And that's the bottom line. I finally accepted that some people are just going to be sheep. Well, it's most people are sheep. I think most people have a fear, and they need to be told what to do, but only by certain people. So you'll find, like, for some reason, people trust the government because they're under the impression the government's honest and knows what they're doing. And you hear that. I was watching Attack on Wall Street, or one of these. No, I think I was watching The Big Short, and the guy says, well, this is Alan Greenspan and this. Yeah, and it was Steve Carell. And they go, so you're saying he doesn't know what he's doing? And the guy's saying, yeah, he doesn't know what he's doing. Exactly. And, but they're so smart. They're in the government. And it's like, that doesn't make them smart. It's all corrupt. So that's the problem, when people will listen blindly because it's Alan Greenspan, or it's Powell, or it's George Soros, a fucking Nazi. I mean, once you start just listening blindly to people, then that's what happens. So when people don't know, they don't know, they don't want to, like, in other words, the way I think is, why is gold so cheap? Why isn't it going up? Because I understand what inflation is. It's printing the money. Most people don't even understand that. They think it's prices, which it isn't. The market controls the price, not the inflation. So I then analyze and go, well, gold should be much higher than it is. Why isn't it? And then I realize it's price fixed by JP Morgan, who does COMEX, and the London bank, bullion banks. They keep the price down because they want to Ponzi scheme you into believing that the dollar's fine and that gold really is not worth it. There's no value in gold. There's no demand. This is what they want you to believe. But then you realize they're the ones doing paper gold, keeping the price down. You can't sell 1 million ounces of gold that you don't have, and then the price goes down. So my question is, why are we even using the paper price? Why aren't we using a physical price like every other product in the world? But that's how I think. So that's really the point. Why aren't we doing that? And then it becomes, I understand it. So I don't need, I'm not going to listen to the government because I know they're lying. So I get that. But you've got to learn it first. It's like, how do you bet football? You got to understand the teams. You got to understand the quarterbacks, the defense, the coaches. You need to really understand it. And then when the bullshit comes out, Michigan's not going to try today. You're going, what are you talking about? Where are you getting that? Who's telling you this? Did Jim Harbaugh come out and say, you know what, guys, we're not really going to try. We're looking ahead to Ohio State. You don't know what the fuck's going on in the locker room. And even if you do, if your friend's the quarterback, you think he's going to tell you, yeah, we're not really going to try today. Bullshit. Who doesn't try? It's football. The players always try. So anybody this stupid to be betting on Maryland is going to get what they deserve. I mean, that's just fucking ridiculous. But that's the way life is. People don't know. So why should they trust you? They think they should trust the government. So that's what they do. And then they trust the government. And that's really what it is. And that's why they don't. So I walk up to them. Who am I? I'm a stranger. They don't know me. So why would I listen to Professor? He doesn't know anything, or I don't know what he knows. He's the professor. I don't know he's the professor. So I'm not going to listen to this guy come up to me. Who's this guy to come up to me? And I can say, well, I got a master's in economics. Well, really, do they believe it? Well, I know guys that have masters that don't know anything, so it ends up with that. I'm like, fuck, I don't care. I'm buying gold and silver. I don't, And then my friend, Julia, who's there, who's one of us who understands gold, she says, fuck them. Don't try to help them because then there's more gold, silver for us. Otherwise, they're buying all our gold and silver. Leave them alone, and then we'll buy it all. And when she said that, I kind of said, yeah, I think you're right. Why protect them and then not have gold for us? Now, I've already bought as much. There's a little bit more I can buy, but I'm kind of waiting on the dollar. But again, there will be no CBDCs. People they get that wrong. It's got to be a vote of Congress, which will never happen because the banks run Congress, and the banks do not want the central bank being the bank. They want Wells Fargo wants to be the bank and make money. Let's not forget they make money loaning us money and everything else. So they don't want to be out billions of dollars in loans that they can't get. But people are sheep. All I can say is educate yourself and understand it on your own. That's why I'm trying to teach you how to fish instead of giving you the fish. So the other day, some guy asked me for a pick, and I'm like, "Go! I'm not here to give you picks. I'm here to teach you how to figure out the picks. I give you a free one, and if you want to make money, then buy my picks because I've got 3 locks going today, and you have no idea what they are. So that's the whole point of it. If you can see my skill set, and then if you want to make money by my picks, go ahead. Don't sit here thinking I'm going to spoon feed you all the picks. That's not going to happen. I didn't bet on, like I said, I didn't bet USC, UCLA. I'm giving you my opinion on the game. I didn't bet it. I'm not sure my opinion on the game. I think it'll be low scoring is about all I can figure out. Even that, I don't know if I'm going to, but I'm not going to bet the game. So you don't know what I bet on. And even if I did, you don't know how much to bet it. You don't know any of the strategy of betting. But that's not the purpose. The purpose isn't for me. It's I'm teaching you. We're going through game by game. This is what I think. Why is an education. I'm teaching you, not. Oh, good. Wait. He said. He said LSU, Georgia State. I'm going to bet LSU. over and da 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 da, and you know you're not being honest with yourself. You should be figuring that out, not me. I've already figured it out. I've been doing this for like 50 years now. Jesus Christ. I keep thinking 1977 is not that long ago, and then I go 87, 97. Oh, so, yeah, it's 46 years, 50 years. I've been betting since the mid 60s, late 60s. There was once I was at my dad's house. We're watching the Miami Oklahoma game with Michael Irvin, and I bet Miami at home with Michael Irvin, and they win. And I'll never forget my stepmother. They lost the game, and my stepmother goes, "Why didn't we listen to Howard?" And I just said, you've got the goose that lays the golden egg, and you don't want to listen. Now, in my dad's defense, he probably wanted to figure it out on his own. And that's what I find. The more advanced people want to figure it out on their own. They don't want to be told what to do. I'll be told what to do is fine if I trust the person. Like I said, my Florida State Oklahoma lock in 80, I want to say 1980, right after, it was the year after Billy Sims. Florida State was just getting good. Ron Simmons was on the team, played Oklahoma, and my guy gave me like a 90% on Florida State. They got the speed, they got this. I had 7, I took it 13. I bet $2,000 on that game in 1979, 1980. That was a lot of money, and it won. So I'm not stupid. If somebody gives me a good one and gives good explanation, that's fine. How was betting back in the 60s? Well, I started betting quarters, 1968, 69. And then it was, for some reason, I always had money to bet. I always had a few dollars, and then I'd win, and I'd have a few more. And I think it was easier. I wasn't into the over and unders as much as I should have been, because from like 1970, 71, 72, 73, everything was an under. The Steelers, the Cowboys, Miami Dolphins, perfect under teams. And then in 74, when Swan and Stallworth came in, they changed the rules a little bit, and the scoring went up. So that would have made it, because the Steelers the first couple of years were great unders, and then they became more over as they got a little older and Swan and Stallworth developed. Bradshaw sucked as a quarterback. He had way too many turnovers, and he wanted to run. He was the typical running core. He was like Lamar. He would run, and they'd lose because he wasn't doing it. As soon as you started throwing the Swan and Stallworth, they started winning Super Bowls. So it was easy. The team is what the team was. So there was less teams. You knew what the players were. College football, I bet the dog in the Michigan-Ohio State game from 1972 till 2000, and I won every game. It was always close and hard. The difference was, so I always took the dog and won. I would have locked the under every year, like I'm going to do this year. Very run-oriented. Ohio State had Cornelius Green and Archie Griffin. They threw 5 passes a game. I mean, they were just going to eat the clock up. But in the Michigan-Ohio State games, those were all unders, and all dog games. So that was that. USC would win a lot because they had balance. They had a good quarterback and could run and pass, and nobody saw that. Alabama with the killer defense. So there was a lot easier, because Alabama would have 105 players. They all could have more players on the team. So you get all the good players would go to Michigan, not Michigan State and Purdue and these other Notre Dame or Dame. So it was very easy to make money with, you knew what was pretty much going to happen. you didn't have the transfer pool. You didn't have the coaches leaving. Fucking Woody Hayes was there 30 years. Bo was there 20 years. I mean, Paterno was there. You knew what you had. And then you'd get up like Pitt with Tony Dorsett and Hugh Green, and then you started betting them because you could see how good the team they were. But basically, that made it very easy. Now the NFL is a bitch because the coaching changes and they draft the quarterback and they play him. You never would see that. You would never see like C.J. Stroud even be picked, but not only that, but play. And you didn't have terrible GMs and terrible coaches like you have now. I think the biggest problem is the coaches are so bad. The GMs are so bad. And look at the Bears coach. What is it? This guy from high school? Where did you get this guy from? Where are you drafting Fields? Are you insane? Look at the backups, a grocery store clerk. What are you kidding me? You would never see that in the pros. I mean, in the 70s. Jesus Christ, you had Staubach and Bradshaw and Montana came late 70s at Notre Dame, and then in the 80s. That was it. And now it's just even the transfer portal is really making college hard. Although once I figure out, that's why I always say I get stronger. In the first few weeks, I don't know. I don't know in the first few weeks Utah State's an over team. I do now. They score a lot. They give up 26. Now I know they're that's why I say I have to figure that out. That's why the first few weeks are tough. I can still win, but now I can win with a lot. I can play 3 locks today, and I'm very strong on the locks. I'm very comfortable on them. Where, in the beginning of the year, you have no idea. Now in the 70s, you knew Ohio State and Michigan were going to be good every year. You knew what you had. You knew Notre Dame. You knew Alabama. So you got all that, right? You knew all that going in. Now there's so many teams and these players, you can't pay attention to 5-star, 4-star, 3 because they're playing in high school. It doesn't mean anything. How you are against high school versus how you are against college is totally 100 miles different, and then 200 miles different when they get into the pros. Are they any good? I mean, who knows? You've got to see what they play like. So everything was much better and easier in the 70s and in the 80s. So much, Magic Johnson and Bird. I was like, oh, okay. I mean, it was a joke. I mean, you had those type of players. You don't have those type of players. You don't have anybody in basketball. Football, you got kind of Mahomes. Burrow just got hurt. I got 5 players that are any good in football. Right? Aaron Rodgers got hurt. Burrow got hurt. Lamar, they're just trying to build him up. He's not any good. And so it's a lot harder now. I've had to change from trend analysis to just mostly over under on the team or figuring out the offense, defense of the team and the quarterback. So I'm now at the point where do they have a good defense or do they have a shit defense? I won yesterday because Colorado and Washington State have shit defenses, but good quarterbacks. So I bet the game over. Where in the 70s, I would have probably taken Colorado as the dog at 10.5 and not really notice the shit defense. So that's one thing I have figured out, how important the defense is. And that's what we're at right now because I can't, Cal Stanford, I would have taken Stanford in 12.5. I did that in the 70s. My best day ever I had was rivalry week. And then it was Oregon State, Washington State, Michigan, Ohio State. It was all right around Thanksgiving. And one year I took 22 teasers with college. where I took the dog in every rivalry game. Arizona State, Washington State, Kansas State. I won 21 of the 22 teasers. I won. I don't remember the loser, but everything came in. Ohio State, dog won. Kansas State won. Washington State, the dog won. All of it. I can't do that now. I mean, and I couldn't tell you the defenses on the Arizona State. I didn't care. I knew they weren't that good. The dog, it's a rivalry, and that was the whole philosophy, was taking the dog because it's a rivalry, and they all won. But like now, Cal Stanford, I am not taking the dog Stanford because I don't know if the quarterback, and I see how explosive Cal is. USC, UCLA would be a dog play 100% of the time. Now, injuries, I see how explosive SC is. I see how weak UCLA is offensively with the killer defense. So it's probably still UCLA as the dog. Michigan, Ohio State next week, it'll be total dog. But that's Mississippi State. I mean, there was Auburn, Alabama. You could just go down the list, and it was just take the dog, and they would, and you'd make a fortune, which you can't do now. So you have to adapt, and I think that's what I've done. I do keep an open mind, a very open mind. I'm the type that I keep my eyes open. So people think I'm staring at them, and I'm not. I'm observing them, I'll see people and or you see a kid, you see a parent, and you're just observing what they're doing. I'm not really staring at them. I'm just aware of everything in the room. I'm at the pool. I'm aware of everything that's going on. I keep my eyes open. But that helps in football and poker. You develop the theory of what's going on and how to bet on it. But yeah, it was much easier. The 60s, I mean, I was born in 59, so I don't know the first 6 years of the AFL, Joe Namath. I do remember watching football when I was 5, 6 years old at my grandfather's house. We'd go on a Sunday and I'd watch, but I never bet on Joe Namath or all that shit. But that was exciting back then. Those are good games. Not the bullshit we have now where let's take 5 minutes to do a instant replay review or an injury. Let's take 5 minutes. Why are we taking 5 minutes to do a replay review? Either the guy's inbounds or out of bounds, and that's it. And up. And then I love how first of all, you're challenging the ref's ruling. The ref doesn't see the game frame by frame. The guy's running at 15, 20 miles an hour. He goes up for the catch. Did he get feet in? Well, how are you reviewing that? And then you're reviewing it to say, oh, yeah, so he did get his foot in. And the ref called him a catch or not. You can't take the ref out of the game. If the ref called it a catch, it's a catch. If you call it incomplete, it's incomplete. You move on with it. You can't sit there and micromanage and look and zoom in and super slow motion and go, oh, yeah, you can see his toe did touch the white. That's not what it's for. That's not what replay is for. And it shouldn't take if it takes more than 10 seconds, you should throw it out. It's just stupid. It's absolutely, it's like Tubi, right? The commercial. It's like, oh shit, you're interrupting the game, and here comes 5 minutes of commercials. I'm gonna go turn the channel. I can't watch that shit. So that's really what gets me, is just trying to watch that shit. So you've lost me, but again, it's because I'm used to. You go back and watch a 1972, 1973 Michigan Ohio State game or a Rose Bowl game, right? Early 70s. And you got Keith Jackson, and it just rolls. Very few commercials. There's no, reviews and, targeting and all this bullshit. They played the game. The refs were great. Very few major injuries. And the flow of the game worked. So to me, it's like going to the movies or watching a DVD where the game just goes, right? It's smooth. And now you watch TV and they break it up so much, Oh, let's take a break for 3 minutes to do an instant replay. What the fuck is that? Who's thinking that? Well, we'll sell commercials. This is the problem. You're ruining the product because everything you're doing is to sell, make money. But you're losing your audience because the audience doesn't want to sit there and watch all these commercials. Look at baseball. We're shortening the game with the pitch clock. You're doing it so you can get more commercials in. That's why you're doing it. So it's a faster moving game. And then you can have more commercials in the game. So that's why you're doing it. So it ruins the game by doing that. Anyway, so life's about analyzing and problem solving, as I said on an earlier video this week. It's all about seeing things and then analyzing them, and then is there a problem? How do you solve it? So in class, I give you how to solve the problem of picking a game. The Michigan game with Maryland. How do you solve it? Or I give you the Troy game against Lou Lafayette, and this is how you solve it to bet on it. And that's what we tried to do. Last week was the San Francisco. They lost 3 in a row. They're at Jacksonville. There's not a very good team. The best team's going to be pissed, the Niners, and they killed them. That's how you problem solve and analyze, and what you look at to analyze. So you got the game. How do you problem solve it? Well, what do you analyze? Well, what's going on? Oh, Frisco lost 3 in a row. That's analyzing. That's coming up with the prediction. That's problem solving. You've solved the problem. And that's what you got to do in everything. Most people can't problem solve the inflation or the economy or the gold. They refuse to problem solve. It's too difficult. Even when you lay it out for them and explain it piece by piece. If you print the money, you inflate the dollar. You're laying it out for them, but they don't believe it or they don't understand it. Even though you try to explain it as if they're 5th graders and you're saying they're printing the money. You're not talking like Mark McGuire with the ring fence and the casino and all the bullshit he says. You're just talking, you're just talking in English, but people won't problem solve the dollar. They like being Ponzi schemed, or they wouldn't have been in Madoff. I don't know. I guess they just like feeling, they think they're safe they're safe for some reason with the government keeping them safe. I really don't know. It really makes no sense to me, but they won't do it. Do I think Caleb Williams will be the first player taken in next year's draft? I think it depends on which team's drafting. Let's say Carolina's got the first pick. They're not going to give up on Vince Young right away. So I'm going to say no. Now, if a team who, like the New York Giants, says, you know what, we're the number 2 or 3 team, we'll trade you for the number 1 pick, and they're smart enough to get away from Daniel Jones, who they just gave this huge contract to, they could draft a Caleb Williams, although I'm not sure if it's going to be him or Bo Nix or Penix or the kid from LSU or Oklahoma. I mean, there's a lot of good quarterbacks, Hartman and Van Dyke, that could be drafted the first quarterback. Hey, Bobby Bo, I thought are you going to the LSU game today? So, again, it depends on what team. Is he the first quarterback drafted? I don't know. Let's see what he looks like against UCLA. I think if he puts up another shit game like he did against Oregon and he did against Utah, well, he wasn't too bad against Utah. There was a couple of games he looked pretty bad on. I don't know. Is he? I say I don't think he's the best because of the system. We've seen Oklahoma quarterbacks Hurts and Kyler Murray, who aren't very good. So is Caleb that good, or is it the system? I think it's the system. I would go with Bo Nix or Penix, or the kid out of Oklahoma is very strong. The kid at LSU is. I didn't know he was that accurate. He wasn't before, so he can run and is that accurate. So yeah, I can see those guys going ahead of him very easily. I'm driving. Phone battery is a bit low, but I've been listening in the past few minutes. Next week I'll be here. Well, that's good, Bobby Ball. I just want to make sure you're okay. It's been a while, and always worry. Otherwise, everything's fine. Free pick is Troy today, and not taking the LSU over because Georgia State doesn't have the offense to get over with it. So figure that out. But against Texas A&M next week, okay. Oh, okay. See, that'll be a good game. A&M's got a good defense, and their quarterback's not bad. They'll still go over. But you're playing Alabama against Chatham today? They're playing Chatham. I mean, like, how are you playing Chatham or whatever it is? Division II game. They're 45-point favorites over Chatham. Like, really? Yeah, Alabama, you deserve it. Jalen Daniels has turned it around big time this season. I wish we had him one more year. Yeah, he wasn't that good last year, and he had a good game against Georgia. And, yeah, I think that he could easily be the number one draft pick. Like I said, Bo Nix, Penix. You can't go wrong with any of those. Van Dyke, Hartman, Gabriel from Oklahoma. You can't go wrong with any of them. Will Howard from Kansas State's very good. I thought they weren't trying because they didn't care. They got Ohio State next week. See, that's my point. I'm a little surprised Maryland got 3, but final score, Michigan 42, Maryland 3. That's your final. After last year, I wanted him out because all he did was run the ball. Now he's been great. Yes, exactly. That's why you need two-dimensional quarterback. You can't just be Lamar Jackson. You don't win games running the ball. You must throw. You must use all your chess pieces. And I agree with you. He sucked at Arizona State when they got him. I says, why aren't they using the other guy? I was surprised. But that's where Brian Kelly came in, and I'm sure has helped him throw the ball better. But that's why the kid went to Houston, what's his name, Smith, to get better, but he still sucks. But yeah, it's I mean, there's a boatload of quarterbacks, McCall and Hartman and Van Dyke, that are out there. Cam Rising didn't even play. He's as good as any of them. He's going to be a steal for somebody because they're going to think he's injured or is not that good. And if you know Cam Rising, you're the Lions. You got Goff. You could have Cam Rising. It's not even close. You should get Cam Rising, but they're too stupid to do the thing. But he's very good quarterback. I know you had trouble with him in the Rose Bowl. But he got you to the Rose Bowl by making us a fortune in the other games. Anyway, so I got a boatload of games going today. Three locks going. And I'm waiting on a few. I still might play Rice, UNLV, and Cal Stanford game. I'm waiting. I got to watch for those spreads a little later. Although I think I don't know what Rice is earlier. And I don't know if I really want to fuck about Air Force, but they're doable. But it's not like I don't have any plays. Penix, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying. All those guys. Um, Even Uglia Booglia might get drafted. He's looking if he has a big game today. But yeah, Penix, Nix. Caleb, and then Cam Rising is sitting there. Although not Ward from Washington State, the kid thought he was like the best quarterback in the country, and then he started playing some good teams, and he didn't show up. So, what do you think of the USC? Oh no, I would not play it over. No, UCLA is too strong a defense, and they really don't score their quarterbacks out, or I don't know which quarterback they're using. The main one's out, where he's questionable. No, I don't like it over at all. This will be like the Oregon game and/or the Utah game, where they did score on them, but UCLA is not going to score that much. So this will be I think UCLA is going to run the ball down their throat, eat the time, and then the Twins are going to be all over Caleb Williams. So not the game to bet the over. The over bet you should have made was last night, Colorado, Washington State. That's what I have. I have very few overplays today. I just haven't found the matchup. I was going to go over Boise and Utah State, but the Boise quarterback's out. And really not. I was going to go over LSU, and I looked at Georgia State. They don't score. I'm off of them. Yeah, I showed you here. Well, can you see the screen or not? I can show you my comments. I showed them yesterday.
McLaren Medicare is your choice for value. McLaren Medicare plans include access to an extensive,
as we outlined in our last.
So can you see I'll read you my comments. Why do you keep talking paper gold instead of a real physical market? Why does the Fed have to reprice gold? Just let the market do it like every other asset. Why do we keep using the paper price? It's such BS. You lie about a lot. We need a free physical market. Why do we need the Fed to revalue gold, especially when they don't have any? Why not just let the free market value the physical gold and stop the Ponzi scheme? This is worse than Madoff. And you can't explain anything here using yours. Shake my head. Listen to Teaser King. He's an economist. Like it's not me talking, right? Then I had a few others. So when does this Ponzi scheme end? When does the COMEX paper market stop being used and we get a fair market value of physical gold? According to you and Alistair, I was going to say alligator, but he wouldn't have got it. You keep saying it's not gold going up, it's paper money going down, but you're both wrong. If that was the case, with the 20% inflation, gold should be priced at 20,000 and it's over 2,000. So they keep saying, people keep asking, when's the gold price going up? And they keep saying, it's not the gold going up, it's the paper going down. It's the money going down. And I'm like, but the money's been going down. And it is when you go, the paper gold's being manipulated down. What we're asking you is when we blow up the paper price, what is the physical price of gold? And these idiots are Well, gold doesn't go up. Bullshit. Gold is not at an accurate price because it's at a paper price. What the fuck are you talking about? There's a couple others I did. And basically, I would not recommend it. He wasn't, I don't know what the fuck he was saying yesterday. It was the same old shit he's been saying. You sound like Madoff. You say a lot, but nothing makes sense. I got him there. Let's go to newest. I've been taking live from the vault notes for months to understand what Andy is saying. This 149 was the first time that I finally understood everything Andy has spoken. Thank you, Shane, for your questions. Whatever. Just the best vlog out there. Who's this idiot? His son? Well done. I was tapping my toe for the first 6.5 minutes. Not many people talk about that anymore. See, I was watching Money Heist, and at the end of Money Heist, what does the professor do? The professor sits there and uses the fact that the gold's out, that the Spanish economy is collapsing because they don't have gold to back the paper anymore. So nobody has confidence in the Spain money, and it goes to zero. And so there's no collateral. The gold isn't worth anything. Well, think about it. That's the same thing we have here. We have no gold. Why is our money worth anything? That's why they don't let it be audited. They've already spent the gold. And if they audit it, you'd know that there's no gold there. In Money Heist, they show pictures from their phones when they're doing the heist saying, here's how we got the gold out. The gold's out. There's no gold. Look, we're proving it. And that's how they could negotiate their way out of the bank. And that's what we need here is somebody to prove there's no gold in there. So they won't allow an audit because then it would prove there's no gold there. And then our dollar would be worthless and the economy would bust. So that's why the government doesn't let anybody in to audit it. And you would see there's nothing there. So by them merely refusing, there isn't any. Because if they had, they would say, look, here's our what do I do? I buy gold. What do? I show you. Here's the 2/4 ounces I bought. Here's my ounce I bought. I prove that I bought it. So I'm backing it up saying, look, this is what I teach. Look, I bought gold. Simple as that, because I did it. And if I didn't buy gold and I said I did, I'd be an asshole. Like, oh, go buy gold, but I won't do it. Like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, so I read it to you, but I could show you. Bobby Bow is screwed. Oh, I missed that game last night. Did Prime snap his losing streak, and did Colorado lose again? Colorado got killed. They lost 56-14 to Washington State. Prime, it's amazing for an all-pro cornerback to not know anything about defense. Just amazing. Love the comments. Thank you, Bobby Bow. No silly guess this time, or it was just Mark McGuire? No, this was the Mark McGuire only week. So every other week he's got a stupid guest, and then he just does himself. And they're like two different shows. He'll ask the guest, well, what do you think about gold? Or what is the gold price? Like he doesn't know. And then he does yesterday's show or his normal show where he knows about, gold apparently. So no, the next week will be guest. And as much as you can bitch, and then and I hate the host, he'll say, by popular demand, who the fuck wants to see these idiots? Are you kidding? Why? The popular demand is Mark McGuire. He's the popular demand, but I'm getting tired of watching the show because Mark McGuire is fucking, he's not, he keeps ring fencing the casino. Okay, so when is Comex breaking up? Now I read something yesterday, Bobby, about, I don't think I saved it. what they're doing in Europe is they're all coming out with all the central banks are buying as much gold as their GDP. I don't really understand that. And so they're all going to the gold standard in Europe now. So all the euros, so all these guys are now going to be gold back. So I saw that on Google yesterday. So they're all buying gold to have gold back currency. So I can move to Europe. The only place that won't be is here. We're too stupid to do that. So I'll show you this thing. Well, I'm looking. I saw it yesterday. Let me see if I saved it. No. Bank of China is buying gold. Well, geez, we already knew. No, I don't see it. Anyway, it was on yesterday that they are all buying gold for a gold standard for each country. From I think it was Amsterdam was the report. So gold's going. So silver, don't worry, silver's going with it. What do I think of hot cocoa? Well, it's got to be dark chocolate, right? So I eat my dark chocolate is like 90. It's at least 80 something or 90 dark chocolate because the cocoa is very good for you. So I'm not sure hot cocoa. Cocoa is good, but it can't have a lot of sugar in it. Wow, Washington State Stanford beat them 10-7. Yeah, no, Stanford beat Washington State 10-7 a few weeks ago. So I'm all confused, and now Washington State kills Cal, which I thought they would. And see, you got to remember you're getting into like bet Ohio State today because it's senior day, right? So now you get all these senior days, and the team really plays good for the guys' last games. So that's probably what happened with Washington State. They got Washington next week. So Washington State's got Oregon State. Washington's got Oregon State this week and Washington State next week. Katie bar the door. If they can go through that, then they deserve to be in the playoffs because they beat Oregon. By the way, it's Saturday, so that means General Chow. Yes, I'm going to go to the pool, and then I'm going to the General Chow. With no, I get the sauce on the side now. I don't want to have too much sugar, so I'm trying to keep that down. But yeah, General Chow. Yeah, no, it's. I made hamburgers last night, so I'm going to have a hamburger omelet as soon as we're done here in a few minutes. And then Stanford beat them 10-7 at Washington State. Yeah, and then so now you got Stanford and Cal. The Stanford quarterback's questionable. I love the over in the game if I have the quarterback. Both teams have 37 defenses, and Cal is a strong over team, but I can't bet it if I don't have Stanford's quarterback. Then maybe if he's out, I bet on Cal, figuring they're going to score 50 anyway, and Stanford won't be able to keep up. But I would prefer to go over than it's a rivalry game and the dog wins and I lose, even though Stanford's backup quarterback, lights it up and everything. So I'd rather play this game over. I haven't been there in a week. I told you I bought the 2/4 ounces last week. Nothing this week. I might buy some more silver. I'm gonna fly to Europe to meet Jenna in December, and then Daria put in for her passport. She says it takes a month. So she just applied. So middle of December, she'll get her passport. So we'll go, depending on when I meet Jenna is when I'll meet Daria. The best would be if I met Jenna and then flew to Turkey from there to that way I don't have to fly back and forth. Sort of like staying on the West Coast for to play the Chargers and then to play the 49ers. So we'll see how close that is, although I'd like time off. Come home for a few weeks before. So we'll see when she gets her passport. Jenna's got her passport. I told Jenna I saw something where they're going in the Ukraine in Odessa. The military is going into cafes and bars, seeing young men who are Ukrainian and basically kidnapping them and forcing them in the army. So they're just taking the kid. You're 20 years old, and they're pulling them out of the cafes. Next thing they know, they got an army uniform on and they're fighting the Russians. Unprepared, no training. This sucks. I told Jenna, tell your son to be careful and keep his eyes open. Now, that was in Odessa, a big city. I don't know what they're going to do in her little city if that's a problem. I don't think they'll go into every little city in the Ukraine and kidnap boys to fight in the army against Russia when they have no chance of winning. It's ridiculous. Zelensky, and it's all for the U.S. to keep the war going. It's ridiculous. So I haven't been there. I'm good. Just hopefully USC usually can show the world and get Bobby Bo over. Oh yeah, it's official. You're heading out to Europe, and I pretty much not. I haven't booked the tickets yet, but yeah. Well, I'm gonna have to help him with the gold standard money. I can see we're walking into these countries, Amsterdam. Okay, here's how you do the gold standard, guys. But no, not the. It'll be a week with Jenna and a week to 10 days with Daria. She's got the flu today. She was at a clinic. So when I didn't talk to her for 5 days, I'm freaking out. She's at a clinic. She doesn't want me to know about it because she's a little shy about it or offended. She doesn't want to offend me. So she doesn't want to lose me, right? She doesn't want to say, oh, I'm doing this. And, like a stop smoking clinic. It's not that, but it's like I know she smokes. I told her I don't care. So I sent her $100 because it was like a 2-year reunion of her doing this, and it was in a different city. I don't know why she couldn't text me, but she probably didn't want to say she's there, so she didn't want to lie to me, which is good. So I said, "Don't worry, you can tell me that." I gave her money to celebrate because it was a 2-year anniversary. So she's got the flu today, so she's just staying in. But anyway, so that's good. I said that's why she didn't text me for 5 days. She didn't want me to know where she was. I assumed it was with the guy. I was wrong, which is fine. But I knew it was because she didn't know where she was. And I was right, using my INFJ powers. And so I'm just glad she's okay and everything's good with us. So. Only bad thing for us is we will not have class. Oh, we'll have class. I'll bring, especially with Jenna. I mean, it won't be as long. She goes and talks to her family and her friends, so she'll go down for a cigarette, right? So we'll be in the room. She'll go down to have a cigarette. I'll do like I did like I did on the trip when I was in Barcelona and when I was in Portugal, Lisbon. I still took the computer and did class, but it'll be shorter. And again, it's on. If I'm doing it, with the time difference, who knows? It's probably 2 a.m. for you guys, but you'll still have it. Anyway, so haven't eaten yet. One guy asked me, Bobby, why do I eat during the show? It says, because I'm fasting and I can't eat until, noon. And if I don't do the class until 12:30, 1 o'clock, I get home from swimming. I haven't eaten. I'm eating. So I think he was joking, but still, I'm going to eat when see, because I'm doing this in my window, I have to eat. If I was doing this at 9 a.m, I wouldn't have to eat. Like now, I came on at 10 and I haven't had anything to eat yet. So it was just funny. But yeah, we'll have class. I bring the computer. It's just, I need that plug. I need this plug. So if you ever go to Europe, you need like this adapter, so yours goes in there and then this goes into the wall. You can see how much thicker this is, how much wider. So our plug would never fit into their outlets. So you got to make sure you have one of those when you go to Europe. Love to go to Switzerland, have lunch with Egon. I don't think we're going to go to Switzerland though. I have to go to Turkey with Darius. You can't go anywhere else because they won't let Russians into Germany or Poland or any of these other countries. And then there's so we'll go there. And Jenna, I don't know. I think she wants to go to Greece. It could be good. I'd like to see Zeus and Apollo and the gods. So maybe that would be a good place. Never been there. My next meal, I'm going to have a hamburger omelet as soon as I'm done here. I made hamburgers last night. Very good. So I just love the way the omelet. It's 1:15. I'll get to the pool by 2. And then to the Chinese, 3:30-ish. I noticed, too, at Chinese, she doesn't realize she's in trouble because I'll get there at 3:30. They serve lunch until 4, and it's cheaper. So everybody is getting there at before 4 to order lunch meals because it's cheaper. She hasn't figured that out yet. So I'm sure her dinner time business is down and she's not making as much as she should. So all I know is my General Chow went from $11 something to 15 something. And I'm warning her, you hit 20, you're going to be in trouble. Now, I go every week. So what I would first do is go every other week. And then I would start ordering the lunch as opposed to the dinner. But she'll get less money, and that's what I'm warning her about. And she doesn't understand. Then one lady, I hit it out with this one lady. I go to her, are you okay? I know your price increasing, so I know you're losing customers. And the lady, some idiot lady, obviously a liberal, goes, well, but her prices have gone up. And I go, I don't give a shit about her prices going up. All I care about is my cost going up. I don't care about her costs going up. You don't pay more because their costs go up. You pay, you are the market. I said, so if you went to Boneyard, would you pay $50 for ribs? And she's like, no. And I go, well, their costs go up. See, when it's your money out of your pocket, you pay. I don't care her costs went up. You're charging me $15 now. That affects me. Now, it's not a big deal for me, the $11.99 to $15, but if you keep raising it, it's going to affect me. It's not going to happen. So you eat now after this, then the gym, then the General Chow. Yeah, I might do an omelet too, but have breakfast sausage meat. Can I do it with that? Sure. Any meat, chicken, turkey, hamburger, steak. I don't like to put in. I just want to eat the steak by itself. But any of that meat, you can certainly put in the omelet. I'll do it with chicken a lot. No tuna though. Fish, I don't know. Well, I guess you could do. I did get a salmon steak. I need to cook that too. But no, I haven't had. That's why I'm like, okay, I haven't had lunch. I haven't had anything. No, I could go to the pool now and then go to the Chinese and eat that. But I really want to eat the omelet for health reasons. I kind of want to eat the omelet and the veggies and the hamburger just because it's healthy. But we got Thanksgiving next week, so this is going to be interesting. What am I going to buy a 15-pound turkey for myself? I mean, this is where I miss the girls. I wish that they were here and then we could celebrate Thanksgiving. But yeah, Boneyard's the barbecue spot. I haven't been there in a while. I almost want to get the ribs without the sauce because I know it's so sweet for me. So sometimes I can get like roasted chicken or barbecue chicken, and I bring my Ken's French. I put that on my salad. I put that on my baked potato. I put that on my chicken. But I'm getting a hankering for ribs and chicken combo if it's not too expensive. That's a good idea, barbecue. So what if I do sausage before Well, you got to eat 2 meals, right, Bobby Bo? As long as it's in your window, you got to eat 2 meals. But that's what we'll do. Yeah, I'm just really hungry. I've been nibbling at night because I'm not eating proper dinners. Like I had an omelet at like 4:00 yesterday or 5, whenever I was done here. But by 8:00, I'm hungry. I'm like, it's not a real big meal. So I've been nibbling a little bit at like 10:00. I'll have a salad or something, and I don't know how that affects me. I really want to eat at 6, end it, and eat the next day. I really want the 18-hour fast, but I kind of not sure if I'm not eating too much for dinner, if I can kind of eat a little bit more at 9:00 at night or something. I'm not sure about that, but I don't want to do it too often. Like today, I'll fill up on General Chow. The General. Yeah, barbecue, I'll just go for lunch during the week. There's another barbecue place I found where the chiropractor was at, so I might try that out. But my back's been fine. I mean, I do these back exercises in the lap pool. I take a break. I get on the corner of the pool and I just twist and turn and I do it on the stairs. I do it in the hot tub, and I'm telling you, I am feel I can walk fine now. Might have to like stretch a little bit if I do like a mile, but just the regular walking around, I'm fine. So if I do a sauna before, I meant the sauna. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I mean, that's fine. I mean, well, yeah, I don't know how much the heat cleans you out. I know you sweat some poisons out. That's what I told Daria to do. She's got the flu, and I said, just take a hot tub, just sleep, let the body heal. The body will heal you, right? So anyway, yeah, I told her to do that. But yeah, I can't hurt. The real key though is the fasting. That's how the body cleans. Did you see the Joe Burrow injury? He got a cheap hit from Clowney, and he landed on his wrist the play before. Then when he threw it, that's why it hurt him. It wasn't the pass. It was, I think he landed funny when he got hit by Clowney. So Clowney should be suspended for that, but of course he won't be. But yeah, I mean, I can't win. I got Cincinnati and 9.5, and they're up now. They're up 10-7, and I lose Burrow. I mean, what the fuck is going on here with these quarterback injuries? So we'll have to see. Because last week I lost Kansas, quarterback. I lost Air Force quarterback. It was like Air Force lost to Hawaii. I'm like, how could they lose to Hawaii? Quarterback got hurt. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? But yeah, I mean, the sweating will clean it out, but really the fasting does the cleaning. That's the biggest clean thing is the fasting. It does clean the it does clean your body. Not only that, but the autography is what you want. I don't think you get the autography in the sauna. So while you're sweating poisons out, which is good, the autography with a little guy is cleaning cleaning you out is really what you want for clean out is your own body cleaning you out, cleaning your damaged cells and stuff like that. So your cells get full. That's what the insulin does. So if you have too much sugar, your cells get full of insulin. Nothing else can get in. By doing the autography, the little guys come out, they clean your cells and they get all the insulin out of the cells. So now they can be used again. So that's why you got to be careful with too much sugar. You can have a little bit, but not too much. But anyway, so football's on. I am going to go to I'm going to first have a little bit to eat and then go to the club for my swim and then my general chow. And then I'll watch, I guess, the Georgia game at 3:30 and then the Washington game tonight. Yeah. And then LSU's on tonight. Yep. I think LSU is going to put up a 50. Well, they might win like 60-0, Bobby. I don't know. Over under 73. I don't like it. Georgia State does not score. And as you know, we need both teams scoring. All right. Well, have a nice day, Bobby. Good luck to you and everybody else. Thank you. www.teaserking.com. 3 locks going today and at least 10 teasers. There's so many teasers. Now the noon games I've already kicked, but the other games are still there. The night games, everything, the locks. Free play today, Troy. Free play tomorrow, San Francisco. www.teaserking.com. Off we go. Yeah, I like to another good fast in December once back from Louisiana. Well, you almost want to do one in January after the holiday meals, and you put in the sugar and the pumpkin pie and the ice cream and the alcohol. I think you want to do it like the first or second week of January is when you really want to do your 72-hour fast. Then clean up all the crap you ate. So you can eat the crap. It's okay. And then you clean the crap up. And I think that's the difference. We understand that as long as like you can get away with an ice cream, as long as you know you're doing your fasting and then your body's cleaning up the ice cream kind of. So with the holidays, you can eat and not, be guilty as long as you're going to do a 48, 72-hour fast middle of January. Okay, Bobby Bo, I'll be on at 11 for pros. And did you watch my one yesterday on the Ponzi scheme? I did 2 yesterday. I did the Ponzi scheme because I wanted to just do economics. Make sure you saw it. But we're all getting fucked. I figured it out. It's like if Madoff would have printed the money instead of getting the feeder funds in, then he didn't need all the clients coming in, and therefore he didn't need the feeder funds. And that's what's happening now. All the governments are just printing the money, and then they're not giving it out. So we're being Ponzi schemed. All right. Buy more gold and silver. All right. See you tomorrow at 11 o'clock. www.teaserking.com. Have a good day. Be safe. Be happy. Let's make some money.